in the year 2039. Gotham City has no heroes. Its people, no hope. Its youth, no future.
Evening, boys and girls. Who's up for some laughs?
Terry McGinnis was part of the problem.
You can't control your temper, and you'd better if you expect to get anywhere in life.
Yeah, I'll be a big success, just like you.
Until a moment of violence brought him to the door of a man named Bruce Wayne.
Let's put a smile on his face.
Leave him alone. Once known as the Batman.
Man, you're something. Are you okay?
Now, the Dark Knight will rise again to drive the shadow of evil from the streets of Gotham. Let's go! Supervillains, beware! There's a new Batman in town. Batman Beyond. Weeknights at 6:30.
You're pretty strong for some clown who thinks he's Batman.
I am Batman. Justice returns to Gotham.
Welcome to my world.
Only Toonami. The land of Eternia is a paradise with a problem. An act of betrayal has created the ultimate evil.
My face!
And his name is Skeletor.
Eternia will be mine! Battle position!
The only thing that can stop his evil horde is a legend no one believes in.
A hero shall emerge.
And a prince with an attitude.
All this battle training is just fun and games.
Now, a sword will choose its master. A boy will become a man. And a hero will be born. Toonami is proud to present He-Man like you've never seen him before in an all-new original movie. Masters of the Universe. Next Friday at 4. Only Toonami.
4 turtles, mutated beyond recognition. For 15 years, the brothers hid in the sewers, training in the ancient ways of the ninja.
You cannot simply walk amongst the humans.
But we can certainly fly. Woohoo!
Now the teenagers finally surface, but the welcoming committee isn't quite what they expected.
Prepare to battle, costume fools.
We're not wearing costumes.
Don't miss the world premiere of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Saturday, February 8th, 10:30 a.m., only in the Fox Box.
The original Justice League has become a memory.
I am resigning from the Justice League.
What's gonna happen to the League now?
We rebuild. From the ashes of that great conflict, a new team has arisen. A much, much bigger team.
Each of you brings something different to the table.
Old friends, new heroes. And And as usual, plenty of bad guys jumping up to get beat down.
Calm down, and I'll let you go. How about you kiss my ass?
Watch out, evildoers. There's nowhere to run, because this year they're all around you. The League is unlimited. Toonami presents an all-new original series, starring every superhero worth cheering for, and then some. Justice League Unlimited, premiering July 31st at 8:30 p.m.
Now where am I exactly?
Among friends.
There's strength in numbers. Only Toonami.
In a future where anyone could be a cyborg, cops are a little different. The legendary cyberpunk classic finally comes to television in an all-new original series, Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. New episodes every Saturday night at 12:30. The future is now.
Every night around the world, the children sleep, unaware of danger lurking in the shadows. But this night, a strange tune floats on the wind, and the children, one by one, begin to disappear.
I wonder where she could be going.
They are taken to a land of sweet memories and used to power an evil that feeds on their dreams.
My wonderful black dream hole is consuming dream energy from children.
Now, it's up to Sailor Moon and the Sailor Soldiers to put an end to this nightmare. This time, they're gonna need
Sailor Uranus!
a little help.
Oh! Sailor Neptune!
Sailor Moon Super S, next Friday at 5:30. Dream on.
The children!
Only Toonami.
This place is a town of forgetfulness. 40 years ago, everything we knew was destroyed. The face of the planet changed forever.
There isn't anyone who really knows exactly what did happen.
The survivors left without memories. In the aftermath, a new society is formed.
I perform a much-needed job here in the city of amnesia.
In Paradigm City, the rich close themselves into giant domes, while the poor must live without protection. But one man stands for something more, and he does it in serious style.
As a professional, I just try to do my best.
His name is Roger Smith, the Negotiator.
Try this.
Goes against my principles, but I don't have a choice.
His allies, an android, a butler, and Big O.
It's showtime!
When they start a job, they always see it through.
Rest in peace! Bye-bye!
Enemies of Paradigm City, beware. There's a new robot on the block.
You're not going anywhere! You crazy little fool! You're gonna get yourself killed! Time to finish this!
Stay here if we do!
It ends it once and for all!
Big O, weekdays at 5:30. Good guys still wear black. Only Toonami.
The destruction of Unicron has created a black hole, which threatens to swallow the planet.
Let's go!
Now, the Autobots' only hope is to find the ancient planet keys.
Prepare for battle!
But as usual, the Decepticons aren't playing along.
Beat it, Megatron! Oh, really?
Transformers Cybertron. New episodes, Saturdays at 7. Unlock the power.
Gotcha!
Only Toonami.
From beyond any known galaxy, bringing with them the laws and ideals of their doomed planet Thundera, come the Thundercats. Jaga, the wise. Tigra, the invisible. Chitara, the quick. Wily Cat and Wily Kit, a cunning junior duo. Patrol, the deadly. And the Snarf. The Thundercats, all sworn to serve their young lord, Lyin, and to instruct him in the secrets of the Eye of Thundera. the eye embedded in the hilt of the mystic Sword of Omens, and the source of the Thundercats' power.
Thunder, 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 Thundercats, ho!
Pursuing the Thundercats to Third Earth, and determined to possess the Eye of Thundera for their own evil purposes, are the hideous mutants of the planet Plundar, led by the reptilian Slime. They form an unholy alliance with the ageless devil priest of First Earth, Mumra.
Reactor engaged. Faction locked. All go.
Hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well today. I doubt there's going to be very many people watching this simply because, well, let's be honest, this has nothing to do with some internet freak. It has nothing to do with some kid toucher. This has to do with me and a loser who is producing action figures and lying through his teeth at every possible step. Now, it's been a long time, actually, I think, since I've done a stream on old Brian Flynn here. But for those of you who are not new to my content, it's a staple of my channel to take the piss specifically out of Brian Flynn, who runs Super 7, because, well, he's a liar and a thief of different matters. So, I am finishing saving certain images because for some reason it didn't take right. And then we'll get into that by starting by looking at a stream he was on recently. Fancy. So, a bit of house cleaning going on right now. Or upkeep to tell you. So, I talked the other day on the Bunny Chan stream and whatnot about the second call I had in Putopia. And because Bunny Chan is insane and is foolish enough to run to idiots who are obsessed with me, decided to take that call and run to them for their defense. And because these people are terminally online losers, they, instead of sitting there realizing, this person is a freak, perhaps we should not give them attention and enable their behavior. Instead, they're trying their best to run with it and play pretend that I'm in the wrong here. Now, you can say what you want about me. As long as it's accurate, that's fine. But if you've gotten to the point to where you are screeching in defense of somebody as insane and deranged as Bunny Chan, you probably just need to check out of life. Or get a job. Because I recommend to anybody who is that obsessed with me that they try to defend the worst of people or the worst of action simply because I'm against it, I wish you a very merry job application. Because it's always the jobless losers who do this, right? So that's kind of fun to deal with. Now, let's see here. Where is it? It's a tablet screen, right? Yes. Boop. So let me move this around. Where is it? Calling people names and not showing your face. Thomas Guerra. That's my real name. I've said my docs multiple times. I am not shy about my information. Now, if the best you've got is, why aren't you on camera, brother? This is just how I do things. And if that upsets you, I'm sorry. Now, for those of you wondering who I'm addressing in chat, that is Good Jay, who was really butt mad that I upset Brian and his lackeys on this stream. Because I did. I really upset them. And let's be honest, Brian wouldn't knock me out in public. He can barely handle a back and forth in text against me. And you'll see that later. It's going to be really, really fun. So, for those of you who are new in this area... For those of you who are new in this area, Brian Flynn is the owner of Super 7 and currently is the main licensee for the Thundercat action figure line. He's been doing it for about 5 years. Now, one would presume within those 5 years that no shortage of improvement would be made. Not once has improvement been made. In fact, he's lied multiple times. He's put out substandard product. And because Brian is a dishonest snake who takes people's money and runs with it without giving them the actual product they asked for, because the renders are never good compared to or never accurate compared to the final product, he only goes on streams of people he knows will not call him out, won't ask questions, just fluff him, right? It's really funny. But I have a treat for all of you here. I have a treat. So, speaking of my haters, I actually have a favorite hater, right? And the reason why he's my favorite hater is because he is one of my haters who, even though he's a bit deranged, he's not a kid toucher, he's not like an insane freak that like would go to the ends to get at me. If you've been around this channel long enough, you can find the stream Motu Thunder Tries Its Best. It is a guy who is really obsessed with the Thundercats toy line, to the point that he will defend it hook, line, and sinker, right? He'll defend it to the tooth. And he hopped on that stream with me. And demanded to talk to... I'm sorry. He demanded to talk to who did the review of the figures. And if you watch my stuff, the Bird's always who reviews the Thundercats Ultimate figures. He had an unironic argument with the Bird. And when the Bird left, he said, "Oh, I bet that was you, was it?" I'm like, "Nah, you don't say." Well, he comes and goes, right? He comes and goes pretty often. The funny thing is, you would assume, like last year when I was in a whole bunch of heat, you would assume he'd be like giddy. Would you believe that he didn't for a moment understand what was going on? He would occasionally show up in my DMs, because I never close them to him. He would, like, unadd me or delete his account or whatever. But he just pops up, and... I'm sorry. And he's just like, "What's going on?" And he links me to, like, I think it was Stardust stream, the one she cut down. It's like, "What's going on? Who's this woman? Why is she yelling at you?" And then he said, "I'm going to listen to this." And he comes back like 10 minutes later. "I stopped listening. She's annoying. When do you go talk about Thundercats again?" So I love him. I unironically love him, right? Because he's so single-minded and genuinely harmless on that. So after a while, he comes back, not on my channel, right? But in my Instagram DMs, and just starts going at it with me again for the dumbest of things. What does he go at it with for me about? Well, he is really upset that I'm critical of these toys. Like, unironically, actually upset. So, he starts talking about, what do you buy them then? He's essentially trying to say it's hypocritical for me to be critical of a toy line when I'm buying the figures. Which, how do you review the toys without having them in hand? And you can't really sit here and tell me if you said you have nothing I just say, don't say it at all, because that you can't do that with action figures. So I'm going to share with you guys before we get into Brian's thing, as a personal treat. Bruh, what is with the lag? I don't know why, but OBS disconnected. It didn't even just lag, it disconnected. So, can you guys hear me now? Are we back? Are we amongst the living again? My computer's actually completely upgraded. I rebuilt a completely new computer a couple months ago. Alright, so, this is the first video he did on me 3 years ago. And I love it so much. So, let's have a good listen on it, alright? Let's have a good listen. Hold on. Is that my headset? And he is quiet. Let me turn him up for you guys. Oh god, I can't. That's as loud as he gets. I forgot how quiet this was. Let me make sure I have it at 2 times speed. That doesn't help. Boop. Let's try this again one more time.
Thunder, by the way. Yeah, look at these are my Thundercats Ultimate Action figure. Yeah, don't worry. She's right here. Omira's right here. Yep, that's the mature one. Yeah. Oh, and we see Lyin Oh, he doesn't look accurate. He doesn't look accurate on the show. He doesn't look exactly like in the cartoon. Yeah. The hair's not right. The armor doesn't look good. Yeah. He doesn't look good. Yeah. His claw shield is not the right colors. Yeah. You talk about colors, don't you? Don't you, you moron, you pussy boy. Yeah.
Apparently I'm a pussy for talking about colors. That is, I love that. I love this guy.
Yeah. No accurate to the show, yeah. Like, I'm like, yeah, you call yourself a Thundercat historian, do you? The colors are not right. This, that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and what about the kittens, huh? Wily Cat and Kit. Are you gonna say they're not accurate to the show? Huh?
Actually, I will, because they're not. In fact, Wily Kit's sleeve here is supposed to be brown. So, you know.
They're not accurate? Hmm? You're gonna say these two little kids are not accurate to the show? Huh? Are you gonna talk about their colors? And their face and their legs and the whole body? Huh? You're gonna talk about that as well? Huh? You're gonna talk about that as well? Come on. And what about Jagger? What about the old man? Huh? What about him? He's not accurate, is he?
No, he's not.
Huh? Come on. I bet you don't have him. And Panthro. Yeah. Oh. You're gonna say, oh, the Super 7 Panthro, he looks dark. Yeah, he's meant to be lighter.
I mean, he is a Black Panther.
Yeah. You're gonna say the nunchucks are not accurate? Hmm? Oh, and don't worry about the trunks. I swapped them. Yeah, don't worry about that. From the booster pack. Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah. You're gonna say the eyes don't look good. Yeah.
With salient points, he is truly a philosopher of our time.
You know what, Lyin Combo? You are a joke. You really are a joke. You cry like a baby. Let's move on. Now, you cannot complain. You cannot complain about Slive.
And yet I did, because his colors aren't accurate.
The leader of the evil mutants. You cannot say anything about him. He is 100% tool figure. You've got to say that. Everybody loves that figure. If anyone's a Thundercat fan who collects these, they say that this is their top figure.
Argumentation ad populum. I love it.
Yeah, you got to say. You have to admit that. Well, I know what you might say anyway. Mumra, can't say about him, but you're gonna say about him as well. He doesn't look accurate to the show, don't you? And you're gonna say about Jackman as well, innit? Aren't you? Oh, he's not the right colors. This, that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna say everything, innit?
Can you tell what part of the world he's from? Isn't it?
Yeah. It would not surprise me at all, or it would surprise me if you're gonna make a video out of this.
Well, I never did. This is actually the first time I brought this up. This is a stream, so sorry, not a video.
Yeah, you probably will make a video. See ya, pussy boy.
By the way, he says pussy boy because I said that to him. So, anyways, what I did was back to the Instagram back and forth, right? The Instagram DMs. He demanded to know what I do with the figures once I've reviewed them. And I told him, I throw them at homeless people. And not only that, I said, and I threw the cat flare at somebody last night. I'm pretty sure that guy's dead, but the cops can't find me. Now, you would think, right, listening to that, that perhaps he would respond with, like, upset from, like, a moral perspective, thinking I did this because you killed a homeless guy with an action figure. What's wrong with you? But he did a video. He did a little YouTube short. We're going to hear what he had to say about all that. Say the cops can't figure it out. Ah, good one. Good one.
Hey there. Yeah, this is Motu Thunder. Yeah, I haven't done a video in a while. Can't remember the last time I did a video. I think it was like probably 2 or 3 years ago, maybe. Yeah, about that. Anyway, just had an interesting chat with a guy named Lyin Convoy, who is
potentially meant to be a Thundercat historian. So I think we had this chat before on the Discord. I mean, I had got a little bit of problem with my Discord at the moment, but I'll try to sort that out soon. Anyway, what he does, I'll make this probably short and sweet, probably maybe 5 minutes. I'll make this very short and sweet. This guy, Lyle Convoy, what he does is that he spends like almost $200 on Thundercats Super 7 action figures. He reviews them. He reviews all 4 of them with his stupid Bluebird, whatever his name is. Reviews them, saying that they're not show accurate, saying that they're not the right colors, blah blah blah. Always complaining as usual.
For those of you wondering, this is not Brian. This is Motu Thunder. And let me see. I know you guys are complaining about the audio. I don't know what I can do about that. Let me try something. Let's see here. Copy filters. Let me see if I can paste the filter from my mic into this, and see if that'll be a little louder. So we're gonna try that for you guys. Let me lower this just on the off chance.
Well, always does that, blah blah blah. You know, they're not show accurate. You know, that's not correct. That's not right. And what I heard from him right now is that he reviews them, and what he does, and I got a message from him saying that he throws these Thundercat figures where he lives in Houston, that he throws it at the homeless guys. He just throws it at them. So he wasted like nearly $200 on action figures for nothing. So he reviews them, does what he wants for them. And I've seen his videos. I've seen him. What he does. And like I said, he throws these action figures, he throws these Thundercat figures out of the homeless people. Poor them. So sad for them. He just throws it at them. What kind of a guy he is. I don't know what his family thinks of him. I really don't know. He throws a $55 at a homeless person. And that's what he said. He sent a message on it. He did. He sent a message. He throws it at them. I don't know why he does that. He spent $55 on a figure. And if he was so smart, instead of throwing them at homeless, he can sell them. He can sell them on...
So not Lyo killed a man with Cat Slayer. Not is horrifically immoral. He's not... Look, I've asked him multiple times, Thai, if he does have a mental disability. He keeps saying he doesn't. I'm going to take his word for it, because I've met too many people like this, right? But it's not Lyo is a horrible human being. Not Lyo is morally reprehensible or he's assaulting people, but he's wasting that money. So what I did when this went up is I loved it. So I added everyone in the server and said, you guys have got to go see this. Now, did I tell them to harass him? Absolutely not. He is my favorite hater. I actually don't want him to go anywhere. Why? Because he gives me a little hope. He is the one hater I have that is genuinely entertaining in the most inoffensive way possible. So, let's take a look at some of those comments. From Monstrous. I can confirm he threw a figure at me and called me a commie. He then told me to go back to where I came from. And then I respond, I'll do it again. Aw, it's gonna be okay, Lulu. Sonny, who, by the way, sent me audio, because when Sonny heard this, they were in the middle of, recording a D&D session, and it completely crashed out, right? I'm literally crying. This is a beautiful short. Thank you so much for your service. I'm shaking and sobbing on the floor right now. A. Lamau, I actually don't remember who that is. Is this canon to the Christverse? Actually, I think that's Tactical Tomboy. Baiji, I've heard of this Lyo person. He's done horrible things, like this one time he spent $80 on a fighter jet, which he used to bomb a prison. Also true. Cosmic Squid, oh my god, no way this is canon. Then Norden, he made mac and cheese with a katana. It was cheese dip. The guy is a freak. And of course, I corrected him. It was cheese dip. Angie, fantastic call out. 10 out of 10. Brought a tear to my eye. Drunkle B, this is the best thing to wake up and find out. Oh my god. Bro. Lisa Lee's, or I don't know how to pronounce that. My apologies. With cancel worthy, and then he responds to Drunkle, yes, correct. Lyo throw Thundercat figures at homeless people. And then Crossbone Koopa, well, the lies is thick in this sad little view. Now, how did he respond when he got all this love? Because that's like his most watched short. He comes into my DMs and says, oh, look, a lot of people ain't happy about you. I love this guy. He's my favorite. Motu Thunder, please never go anywhere. Please, please, please never go anywhere. I'm not being facetious. I'm actually being real. Please don't go anywhere. All right, so with that out of the way, because I had to have some levity here. Brian Flynn of Super 7 has been consistently lying about things. And recently he was on a interview stream with Mega J Retro. Now, I don't have any personal beef with the man. All right? I don't. I wish he was a little firmer on this. I wish he would actually ask real questions. That's a criticism. I don't have any hatred towards the man. But we're going to watch this stream. And I'm going to point out where I have evidence of Brian lying. And at one point later on, I say something that actually sets him, his co-host, and the chat off. I made a whole bunch of men older than myself really upset. Now, for anybody who goes around saying, Lyo only dunks on the mentally ill or people younger than him, no, I bully people my age and older all the freaking time. You're just stupid and you don't see it. So here we go, another one. So let us begin! Turn that down for you guys, and now we have all that. I'm not going to get... No.
Very special guest, as you can see right here, Mr. Brian Flynn from
Lyin.
Super 7. Brian, how are you tonight?
Good, how are you guys?
No hate, Retro, but
too bad.
Lyin Brian.
We're great, man. We're great.
Absolutely.
My apologies. I didn't know he was going to go into the full theme. I killed it. Don't worry.
I see a giant cat slayer hiding in the background back there.
Oh, it's not hiding. It's very much exactly.
Yeah.
Where, and you know, you see the
thunder
little
tank right there.
Little thunder tank right there.
Along with the helmets and everything.
Oh yeah, that's a stormtrooper. I took that helmet from someone who didn't deserve it. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there for good Jay here, who's really butt mad. 17802 paddle wheel drive, Spring, Texas 77379. Your turn.
Oh,
I'm still transitioning, moving around and such. So guys, we have a very exciting episode for you, and we are super excited to be talking to Brian of Super 7, and JP, of course, has a lot of great questions, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So guys, I'm going to step back a little bit. These two are going to get going, and I'll jump in periodically to see how things are going, and basically, this is going to be great. Guys, enjoy yourselves. Hope to see you soon. So take care.
He's gone.
So what's up, man? Yeah, no, so, hey, man, it's really nice to catch up with you. It's been a while since we had, like a formal video chat.
Yes.
But super excited to, catch on everything. Unfortunately, I don't have the Thundercat spread behind me. I'm in my 5-year-old daughter's bedroom.
Look, there's rainbow mermaids. It's all love here, Everybody's in a good mood.
I wanted to get like a nice canvas portrait of Thundercats to put on the wall, but I couldn't get to the storage today on time for the background. But hey, this is our reality, right? We're all most of us are parents. Honestly, a lot of people that are Thundercats.
I think just about everyone that is collecting Thundercats is a parent at this point.
Absolutely, man. But yeah, man, I got to tell you, with the holidays right around the corner, Thundercats fans have a lot to look forward to with the current release of Ultimates, with Safari Joe.
Yep.
Week 13. And
we got a lot. We got a lot to look forward to. Poorly painted figures with a lot of QC problems. Safari Joe's jacket, by the way, is a completely different color than the rest of his other limbs that have that part. And my shipment didn't even come with the extra heads it was supposed to, and they haven't responded to my customer care request yet, so that's fun.
And the surprise pre-sale, man, of Wave 14. It looks like there will be a lot of new toys under the Christmas tree this year for Thundercats fans. So I was just curious, when was the decision to transition to pre-sales on Thundercats made? And does this mean that fans can look forward to future pre-sales happening more often now?
What are you talking about? They've always been pre-orders. Like, from day one, what are you talking about?
That there is no more pre-order model?
It's a catch-22. There's sort of both sides. So there will definitely be, we're trying to do more on more of a pre-book, sort of pre-release, pre-sale, whatever you want to call it, model versus a full-blown pre-order, especially as we get a little later into these lines.
Yeah, it still takes you forever to do it regardless, though.
It's, it gets sort of tricky, but we've also been trying to get there. We know that, while we know that everybody that...
Okay, I get it's funny that he's interviewing him in his daughter's room, but we don't know why he's doing that. Maybe the reception's really good there. I'm not going to bully him over that.
It's been buying Thundercats from us for all this time, which is wonderful, and we appreciate it. Will pre-order. It's still not the same as when it's in stock. Like the moment it's in stock, there's a lot of people that will buy it. And so we've been trying to move to more of an in-stock model because we have a better idea of how many people want things. So, we can watch, wave by wave, how is it selling? What's the curve? Are we seeing spikes? Are we seeing declinations? Are we seeing different things like that? So we've got a pretty good handle of, at this point, when you're in wave 739 of Thundercats, how many people are going to show up. So at that point, we haven't seen a lot of variation the last couple waves. It's been a pretty steady number.
To answer your question, Metal Man, anywhere from $65 to $95 a figure.
So we can be like, all right, we're going to target roughly that number then, and let's just go ahead and get started. At the same time, they were always planned to be coming out, here at the end of the year. And, but everybody's just like, where are they? Where are they? Where are they? And so it just got to a point where we're like, all right, let's go ahead and get these out and tell everybody that they're coming and get, hey, pre-book them now. They can show up, that kind of stuff like that. I think people feel much better about it, but I still think it's going to be mostly the same crew, mostly the same people that we've been talking to. But yeah, it also it's nicer to not have to wait a year and a half for your figures to show up. That's the case in some cases, but not in all.
Right. Well, now that you mentioned that whole year and a half, I mean, obviously the waiting window for new figures is going to shorten, right? For consumers, because these things are already in production. You're not waiting on tallied numbers from orders to determine when production begins. You're already,
or that if we're going to make it or not, quite frankly.
Right. You guys want to know why they had to shift things in terms of that? Because they've been given several millions of dollars of investment money, and the investors weren't getting their returns, and they were getting pissed. And they're like, Brian, you got to do stuff. That's why the 2003 Ninja Turtles have double-jointed knees and elbows when no other Super 7 figure did, because the investors are like, you got to up your game, buddy. And he was forced into do it. Now, the funny thing is that he was denying for months that was what the case was, until an internal memo came out. Until data came out proving that no, all the rumors were actually true. He was just lying, because that's all Brian can do is lie.
Right.
So, for example, in this case, we are getting Red Eye and we're getting King Lyin. Now, obviously, I know you addressed this with Beebs a few months back. There was leaked images of this wave.
Oh, yeah. Leaked like way early. Early.
So everybody's wondering, where's
Wizra?
Of this wave of 2 figures.
Where's Wizra? Am I going to get my Wizra? So the ideal scenario would have been there were 3 figures in this wave and 3 figures in the next wave. Wizra is not ready to deliver on time the same way the other 2 are. So you're getting 2
broken up wave? That's so uncommon for Super 7.
figures in this wave, and you're going to get 4 figures in the next wave.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
yes, Ransom, after a high production year and giving several millions of dollars in money, he laid off a lot of his staff members. Talk about, it's such a sad decision. You're a snake and you know it, Brian.
And it's
I don't want to say which wave he was in, but it would sure make sense.
It's still going to be a pre-sale though, like going forward.
Yeah, it'll be the same thing. Yeah.
So the number of figures is going to vary, is what you're saying, basically.
It wasn't planning on varying. It was planning on being 3 and 3, but because we were just, Wizra wasn't right yet, and they're coming, and we're going to put them out.
If it was a matter of them not being right, he wouldn't have been able to produce a single one of these figures, because not a single one. I'm dead serious. Not a single one of these figures has actually been right.
Oh, we've got a date that we've got to hit, so Wizra got bumped into the next wave to make sure the figure's exactly right.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Well, that's
just sometimes things go. I mean, for everybody that knows through all the pre-orders that you've done over the years, Jorge, is that they, certain ones take a little bit longer, and that's usually because 3 of the figures are right, and 1 figure we need to tweak a little bit longer, and this one was just dragging behind. But
no, you phoned it in on every single time, which is why Wave 2 had such massive QC issues. Big Bad Toy Store wasn't even accepting them as returns. They just would send you the money or send you a new figure, because they were so bad. And the funny thing is, we're going to get into some messages between Brian and I later in where he lies through his teeth, and the years have only proven that to be the case.
Rather than slow everything down, we just said, all right, we'll just do these 2 and we'll just move him forward, because we got the Thundercats customers used to 4 figures in the wave, so they'll be okay.
Okay, that's cool, because, I guess it's just a one-off that we're doing 2.
You'll get 2 this wave, you'll get 4 next wave, and then when the wave after that hits, it'll be 3 again. So it should have been 3-3-3, but instead it'll be 2-4-3.
So not sure if you can answer this question or not, but what are you predicting the time period gaps are going to be between pre-sales? It's going to be like
about 6 months.
6 months?
It's about 6 months, if I remember right. Because you got to remember, we're balancing Thundercats, we're balancing Silverhawks, and then there's certain other water series that people like that comes from Third Earth.
Yeah.
So we got to balance all.
Yes, Tiger Sharks totally comes from Third Earth. Because Brian knows exactly what he's talking about. It's not a completely separate series. It's not connected to Silverhawks or Thundercats at all. In fact, it didn't even have a much shorter cartoon run and a much lower production value. No, it totally came from there. You moron. Like, and here he is laughing about this. Either he doesn't know anything about Tiger Sharks or he just doesn't want to call the guy out. And this is the problem I have with the intellectual dishonesty of smiling and nodding with this clown. You just enable him. And you've got to stop doing that. You got to be a man and tell him, shut up. You don't have to be a hardcore fan of something to make decent product about it. Truthfully, you don't. So Brian continually putting his foot in his mouth, trying to pretend he's one of the guys about all this, it's just pathetic. And it's very obvious that he's playing a game and people are too dumb to catch on.
All of them out. So, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so we had our buddy Miguel Bayonne. You know him. He's the one that like didn't let you sleep about the Spirit Jaga. But he did some really cool cartoons.
Those cartoons were hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, dude. He's something. He's really cool. He helped me collaborate. I did some.
Yeah, he wouldn't let him sleep about Spirit Jaga. That's why he came with things he shouldn't have. Yeah, totally.
Some art for the upcoming Multuniverse convention we're doing in California, and I did an illustration of He-Man and Lino, and he helped me do the colors on it. He's a really cool cat.
Yeah.
If I go look at those colors, who wants to bet they're off?
But yeah, that's really good to know. Because honestly, I thought we were transitioning to 2 figures at a time. So it's exciting to know that we're going to keep in that tradition of the 3, which was what we did with the last week.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, once again, I think for everybody out there, it's a little tougher, So how do we make this a little more affordable? Doing 3 figures instead of 4 makes it a little easier. I know everybody wants all 4, but it's just like, I want to be as respectful as I can to everybody about how much and how often. And, it's not cheap to make all this and to buy all this stuff. So,
yes, he wants to be respectful, which is why he is actively been malicious towards specific content creators about all this. And yes, we will get into that.
No, and the funny thing is, you're mentioning, we're just talking about Ultimates. But a lot of people are buying the DX stuff in retail. We just had Toy Colors Lino on DX drop at Target and other retailers as well as Snarf. So when you factor that into your Ultimates budget, it's still, it's a big...
Well, and it sort of depends. Like, for a lot of people that are buying Ultimates the whole time, they may not need that Snarf or they may not need that Lino. And so, but at the same time, there is, I would say that we're seeing already a renewed sort of interest in people that are able to get into the line. That, if you're trying to jump in now at wave 13, 14, 15, wherever we are, wherever you are, it's, it's hard to find and it gets expensive. So
they're not as hard to find as you want to think because plenty of people sell them or get rid of them, or they go on absurdly steep discount on like, what is it? Amazon all the time. It's ridiculous.
They're jumping back, like, oh, do I want this figure? It's going to be all this. So the deluxe format allows a whole new group of people to get in. And if they decide they want the Ultimates afterwards because of accessories or whatever reasons that they have, they can always go back and get them. But at least you've got a place to start.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that in a place...
Yeah, don't start at our $55 overpriced figure. Start at our $35 overpriced figure.
Place like, mass retail where you're getting the deluxes, you're not going to get into the really, really deep cuts the same way. Because
Now keep in mind, he has said before in previous things that, well, our prices are high because they're not at mass retail, and then when he puts things at mass retail, they're the exact same price as they were on his website. So he's a liar.
Their threshold for success is much higher, so you're going to have to stick with a little bit more of the heavier hitters. So not all of them will end up there either. So it's sort of a back and forth on that. It's a little dance. But we want people to have fun collecting Thundercats, and so let's have fun with it and try to make it as easy as.
I don't know why Maika here in the comments saying Brian Flynn, Black Star. A lot of people want it. Yes, I'm sure Mattel is going to just let him have Black Star. Good Lord.
As we can within reason. Everything's getting more expensive, but we're trying our best to keep it as affordable as we can.
Absolutely. No, it makes sense, and what you said, having those figures at mass retail at Target, it really opens up that audience of people that are not used to the pre-order model. They're just used to the, hey, look at what I found at Target today kind of thing,
Yeah.
So that really helps create awareness.
If the people who are toy collectors who primarily go to mass retail were stupid to that degree, yeah, maybe. But the articulation for everything he's putting out is literally nearly 20 years behind everybody else. His pricing is ridiculous. So for $35, which is what he is charging for this, right? $35. I pay another, $25? And I can get one of the Marvel Legends 2-packs that has multiple heads, multiple hands, and all that. Whereas These single figures that are 35 might have one, maybe two accessory at most. Brian, toy collectors as a whole aren't buying your stuff not because they hate Thundercats, but because your product sucks. And it's overpriced. And you've been told this.
About the line, because it's crazy, but even though 20 years in with Thundercats Ultimates, there's still people today that send me a DM and they're like, what is...
Also, I wanted to thank Brian for everything he does. Super 7's been supplying me with plastic crack for years. He deserves way more praise than he gets. Thank you. You're groveling for slop, and you have an addiction problem. Please get help.
Is this, and where can I buy these? And I'm like,
yeah.
like
I didn't know they were making these. And it's like, well, yeah, because you can't walk out of your house and touch it.
Right.
You know, you have to know where it's being sold or know somebody that has it. So it is, and then you've got a lot of people that are like, oh man, if you say Thundercats, they're like, oh yeah, cool. But then when they see the toy and you're like, now you're 8 years old again. Now it's like, oh wait, now I need this now. And I didn't think I needed it till I saw it in hand.
No, that's not how that works. I don't know why OBS keeps lagging hard. It's really weird. Last 2 days it's been doing that. But no, here's the other problem. Do you know where they are putting these figures? Where in Target they are putting them? He's putting them in the collector section, right next to stuff like NECA. Real smart, Brian. I'm sure you're not telling on yourself at all there, buddy. I'm actually going to go to 2 times speed. This is getting slow.
Yeah. So I had to ask, because I think I mentioned this to you last time we talked. And as we all know, this year was the 40th anniversary of Thundercats. It happened earlier this year. Surprisingly, we didn't get any commemoration.
Hold on, let me go back. It's the what?
You're like, now you're 8 years old again. Now it's like, oh wait, now I need this now. And I didn't think I needed it till I saw it in hand.
Yeah. So I had to ask, because I think I mentioned this to you last time we talked. And as we all know, this year was the 40th anniversary of Thundercats. It happened earlier this year. Surprisingly, we didn't get any commemorative releases to celebrate the milestone, such as like a vintage reproduction.
Do you think Brian knows that? Because he doesn't. Like, he doesn't know anything about this series, and you guys keep assuming he does.
Figure or any other special edition figures. Was that ever planned for this year, or is it something that just, because I know you guys had a pop-up at Comic-Con for another brand, but like, was that ever in the radar to do something big celebratory-wise for Thundercats?
We've talked about it. We've done some stuff in the past, obviously.
Congratulations to Stabbo the Gremlin. W's in chat for them, coming back with a clean scan for physical health. Congratulations.
I think it was more just that, if we were probably much earlier in the line, maybe. I think because we're so far down the well, it's a little bit hard. And then obviously...
Oh, shut up, you mealy-mouthed moron. You could have done it at any given time, and you know it. Freaking Mattel did it this year with He-Man. They did it last year with He-Man. You just didn't want to. And you knew you could get away with it because the fandom rolls over and lets you do whatever you want.
What we're bringing to mass retail is already planned out. So, like, how do we throw a party and get people excited about making Lyin again? It's like, okay,
By making him correct this time. Giving him up-to-date articulation, correct colors, correct look, correct body proportions. It's not that hard of a thought process there, Brian.
We're getting to that point where it's like, I've got it. We're good. Yeah. So it's not that it was opposed to. There's only so many things we can do. And there also wasn't a push on the WB side at all for it either. So while it may be like, hey, they didn't do anything for the 40th anniversary, but it's like, but yeah, we've been celebrating it for many, many years now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if you consider celebration, like you're going to celebrate your dog by taking it back and beating it, I guess you could say it's a celebration for the past 5 years.
Yeah, you could call that answer a bit of a cop-out, maybe. I'm not sure. But we talked about it, but in the end, there's really only room for one, big blowout every year. And so, we try to work through the different licenses.
That person said they always put their extra parts in for figures in bags. I actually use a tackle box, like the little individual ones that are like what am I looking for? They're not like the actual box for a tackle box. It's like a shelf for tackle box, right? So you pull it out and you can open it up, and there's all sorts of sections there. That's what I use for all my extra parts.
The way I sort of describe it is the booth inside San Diego Comic-Con. We kind of have to be a bit of a sampler plate, because it's like every one of our licensors are like, what are you doing for San Diego? What are you doing for San Diego? So I've got to have something from everybody. There's no time to really focus on one brand. So we only, outside, once a year, we're like, all right, what's the one brand this year? And we try to rotate through different brands.
Of course. No, that makes sense. I mean, what I was talking about was, well, one thing that has been in the conversation between Jay and I and other fans is, how Mattel has recently re-released direct reproductions of the LJN wrestlers, those rubber wrestlers.
Yeah.
So in a lot of people's minds, it's like, how viable is it to get direct reproductions of the LJN Thundercats figures?
I generally speaking, if you've heard me talk about it before, I don't like making reproductions.
Yeah, and he sucks at them too, so that's a good thing. Anybody who's gotten a hold of his Filmation vintage style He-Man toys, they break easy.
And I say that because it's like, those figures are real and they're rare and they were made and they were a time and you collected them. So if we take a separate, let me take it one step back. If we talk about it as a philosophical thing, say you have an original issue Lyin and it's worth, I don't know, $300 on card. There's demand for
Man, I wish.
Reproduction because it's worth $300. But if you make a reproduction, generally speaking, what happens is the value of the original actually comes down.
Who cares? If you're collecting these figures for value, you're a sucker. Like, unironically. Collect them because you enjoy them. Collecting them for value is loser behavior.
And when the value of the original comes down, then not only does the reproduction become worth less, but then there's less demand to buy the originals. And what I really don't like is when people try to pass off reproductions and parts onto originals. That really bothers me.
Oh, I promise you, Brian, you guys would screw up so badly, nobody would ever assume that your reproductions are the original. Then again, real quick, who here in chat likes AI art? Hit 1 in chat if you really like AI art. Gotta look up something. Yeah, of course that's taking its sweet time. I'm not seeing any ones in chat. Interesting. Guess what Super 7's been using for their card art on their G.I. Joe Reaction Plus figures? Are they using the vintage art from the original G.I. Joe toy line? No, they're using AI. And I'll show you an image of that later on. But that's what they are doing. They are using AI art for their action figures. Loser behavior. Continuing.
But ultimately, is if you go down that route, you end up cannibalizing yourself into the point where you actually destroy the market that you're actually promoting. So the only reason that, if a vintage lino right now is $50 on the secondary market, there's no reason to make a reproduction of it, right? And it's only because it's expensive. But the moment you make the reproductions, generally speaking, you will have some people that are on the outside, but generally speaking, the originals come down. Like if you look at vintage.
Who cares? Oh my God, who cares?
Tin toys, for example. Like a Mr. Atomic used to be a $15,000 tin, but then they made reproductions that are basically indistinguishable from the original. Like if you took it out loose, you left it outside maybe a little bit or something and put it out, and I think you couldn't pick it up at a flea market and know the difference. Over time, that thing plummeted down. Now, relatively speaking, it's still expensive, but it's like a $2,000 tin. And then the reproductions, though, aren't even worth the money that they charged when they were new, which was like $200 or $300, because they're just around and it's not a big deal and it's not special.
Oh my God, who cares?
You need to change it somehow, but then it's not a true reproduction. And then I kind of feel like, well, we're already in this vernacular. It's sort of like same thing. Like I really dislike personally. So
I will never move on. I will relive this car wreck every single day.
I don't want anybody taking this out of context and having me talk shit about somebody, but like when they do the Star Wars vintage reproduction figures and they're the exact same and the weapons are almost the same.
I did a Alexander. Loser behavior there too.
And it's like, then somebody can fake that. It's like, what was special about it are that these are the originals. And if we're going to make some
special, what's special about them is the memories you have attached to them. I'm sorry. Here's the thing, and I'm going to upset a lot of collectors. A piece of plastic made in 1985 isn't magic. It's not imbued with something special that makes it magically worth more. The only reason it's worth more is because people are dumb enough to pay more. That's the reality of how this works. You're a doofus. What is this? Oh, Lord. Thank you, Smout. Out of nowhere. We'll talk about it later.
Let me make something new. Let me be additive to your collection, not reproduce what you already have. Does that make any sense at all?
Look, I'm 150% subscribed to what you're saying. And I talked to a lot of my fellow collectors. And what I think would be cool, and I think I talked to you about this before, was, you know how Marvel Legends does the retro figures? Where essentially it's a modern figure with modern aesthetic, modern articulation, maintaining the classic silhouette, but it has a very, like 90% accurate to the original blister card. I think if you were to do the wider, more LJN-shaped card, re-released in Ultimates, maybe finagle a little bit with the sculpt where you can make it look a little more to fit that vintage silhouette, but
no, that's dumb and you shouldn't be trying to encourage him.
Still have modern articulation. You could reintroduce that, and once you get to the bottom of the well, like we kind of are, it will reinvigorate, I think, a lot of collectors to be like, oh shit, now I can get these LJN-esque but articulated vintage homage figures. You know what I'm saying? And not to do everything.
Articulated in quotation marks.
But like the core guys.
No, but I understand what you're talking about, and I understand the desire, because when you hold the figure in your hand, it's one thing. When you see that figure on card, and you're like, oh my God, I want that. And you're like, they want $900 for it. Like, I can't justify that for a card back, like, especially if you already have the figure loose. So I understand what you're saying. As far as if you're going to reproduce something, you've got to do something different to it, I think. Straight reproductions. That's why, like, if I look at Turtles, I feel like they've reproduced those figures too many times. But part of that is they have the tools. So they just go back to the molds and just make them again. So I don't know.
And
I
people
don't
will
want this to
buy
be
them
in
more
any
than they
way-
will your garbage.
Everybody has a different point of view and a different opinion, which is completely valid. Because let's all take a step back. We're talking about collecting toys. So saying that somebody is collecting toys or making toys incorrectly is already like, you're a jerk. Just because I don't agree with it, don't mean I don't see that when they do that.
Oh no! Being critical and saying you're making something incorrectly means you're a jerk? How is this man older than me? How have you survived without having to be told you need to manually breathe? Like, good Lord. This man is stupid. This is amazing. This is amazing. I love it. He just wears it on his sleeve. Oh, don't criticize the toys. Don't tell me my product's bad. You're a jerk. What a freak. I love it, though. One second. Let me check something here. Ah, okay. Alright, so whoever's trying to play pretender, Bunny-chan, you're a dumb kid toucher. Kill yourself. Boop. Moving on. Let's get back into this.
That there's a whole group of people that are very, very excited about that and love those kind of toys. So we just want to be very close the loop here, that I'm not bashing somebody else. It's just I don't agree with that particular point of view.
Yeah, that's why you call him a jerk. You know, calling somebody a jerk's not bashing them, right? Totally not bashing them. Moron.
But that doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means I don't agree with it.
Cope.
No, like I said, it makes total sense for me.
I'm factually right and you are factually wrong. Cope.
Fortunately, I don't have the budget to collect vintage Thundercats. I wish the best I could do is find like some used ones that are fairly in good condition loose. But packaged vintage Thundercats is one of the most expensive secondary market collectibles out there. So,
brother, it's not even a top 5. Look up a Dinosaur figure. Look up a Dinosaur figure. Then come telling me about how Thundercats is one of the most expensive on the market. I promise you, they are not. Not even close.
I 100% feel you when you're like, those are rad. Oh my god, they want 1,000. How much? 1,500 for that? Like, it's hard to justify it. To say the least.
I guess it's just there's not a lot of those figures that were preserved in package.
I could be wrong here, and somebody else will believe.
Because they were made as children's playthings. They weren't meant to last 40 years.
Pointed out, but I do believe that to the end of Thundercats, and part of their appeal for so many people, not just the cartoon, but that they spend a lot of time in places like KB, like closeouts. And if you're buying places like that, most of those kids are opening those toys because they're more affordable or whatever. So what they did do with Thundercats, as opposed to some other lines, is that they were very good about selling through the merchandise at discount or whatever, and making sure they all got sold. And so then they just didn't survive in package the same way.
Yeah, it's possible because it's just very rare to come across like a minty mint or like a sealed Thundercats toy of any type, like whether it's figure.
It's not hard to find a sealed Thundercat figure. You just need to know where to look. Like in my closet right now, oddly enough, on top of all the Gundams, which I may have bought more. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. I have like a mint on card Hachiman and Tigra. Young Tigra, if I recall correctly. Or is it? No, it's old. It's old Tigra.
Or a playset or a vehicle. They're very, very, very scarce, But
yeah, I guess it's interesting. Most every toy show I go to, I always see a few. They're just, maybe it's because they're expensive and they don't sell.
Yeah, they're insanely expensive. I mean, like I saw the Safari Joe carded for like $900.
Yeah.
It's like, really? I'd rather get the Ultimates. You know what I mean?
You'd rather get, like, doing the math in my head, like 13 Ultimates.
Yeah. And hey, by the way, kudos on this wave, because I was looking at the news when that wave was announced, and it was only 9 months from pre-order to delivery.
Yeah, I mean, but once again, we had already started the process of like, we're going to make this one anyways, so we were further along.
Okay, that
than
makes
we might
sense.
have been in the past.
We were going to much shorter waiting window, which is great. That's what we all want.
No, I'm keenly aware, but it's one of those things where you have to also be confident that you're going to hit your number.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. So other things might still be pre-orders, and then some won't be.
So I was wondering, with the release of the Sky Cutter that's coming out next year, that's a really rabby.
Remember, only within 6 months. It was announced early this year, but it's coming out next year. Very smart. Very consistent.
And it's awesome to have something for the mutants, because so far everything's been kind of like, for the Thundercats, they got their tank, they got their palace, their fortress, and then we got a mini rig. So what's in the horizon for mutants? Can we look forward to another mini rig or perhaps some sort of playset? I know that.
How about some mutants that are actually in scale the way they're supposed to be?
Climate right now with tariffs and stuff, it's a nightmare. But
we're not even going there. Yes.
Yeah, no,
it's terrible.
There's no point in going there. Like I had a toy line that is not happening for a while because of the tariffs. So it's like tariffs is like the word that shall not be spoken right now.
Exactly.
But basically, like, what do you have planned for the mutants? Because I think we need to kind of balance off that landscape.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff we have planned. Mutants specifically, there's a couple things. As far as vehicles, though, there's no vehicles in the lineups right now. Nothing like that. So it's not like, okay, here's another vehicle or playset. I mean, I think the Cats Lair almost killed people that work here, and so there's not a lot of enthusiasm on the team for making it.
Suck it up. Don't make things that suck, and you won't have that problem. Also, Cats Lair had tons of QC issues. I haven't even opened mine, to be honest with you. And tons of people had a bunch of like QC issues, parts breaking immediately. This is ridiculous. Oh, trust me, Deborah, I know about the Hot Wheels. I don't mess with the Hot Wheels people. Like that's a mafia at this point.
Another playset at this time. We've laughed about Mumra's Tomb a few times, but I don't think anybody's really gotten that serious about it yet. Doesn't mean that we won't get to that stuff, but there's just like right now, it's like, okay, we did Sky Cutter, we did Mendora's motorcycle, we did the Thunder Tank, we've done it twice now, and then we did Cat's Lair. So it's like I think we're good for the moment. Let's just wait and see what people are, as we keep moving through the line, what are people really really asking for?
Yeah, like CB Hunt's mentioning a nose.
I know it's not that we haven't talked about the nose dive. We've talked about all sorts of stuff, but can you move enough to make it work?
Right, that's the golden question.
Yeah.
So now that you mentioned the Thunder Tank version too. That's something that was really unexpected. It was a surprise. Quite honestly, I can tell you.
Well, he needed to bilk another $500 out of you. Of course it was unexpected. We're going to even a coat of paint and a new Panthro, so you'll buy it, because you're a sucker.
I wish you would have released that version first, because I can't afford to have two Thunder Tanks. And, but still, it's rad, it's cool. I love the inclusion of the toy version Panthro. That was really unexpected. It would have been really cool.
$20 says he didn't alter anything on the tank that made the original one completely non-functional in multiple ways. And yes, I know I need to get caught up on all the reviews. I'm literally years behind on it. But no, the Thunder Tank is a $500 paperweight. It doesn't function the way it's supposed to. You can't even fit a character on the laser turret in the back because he didn't modify it properly. Nobody actually put figure to tank to make sure the clearance was right. Because Brian is an incompetent moron, and so are the people who work for him.
Cool to do that retro nod where you would have like a little window and you can see the Panthro on the box, But I'm curious to know, when will that mold make a reappearance? Is it going to be like a DX, or do you have
never, hopefully,
plans for a new Ultimates with perhaps some extra accessories or parts? Because obviously the harness that you have on this Panthro is specific to the LJN aesthetic. It's more open in the chest area, so you could just have a more accurate, cartoon accurate harness thrown onto that pin, the pinless body, and have like more Rankin Bass heads. I'm sure that's something you have planned, right? Is that something
that would make a whole lot of sense, wouldn't it?
Is that something we look forward to in 2026, maybe?
I don't know, but it would make a lot of sense. But I don't know. I can confirm or deny these rumors.
Yeah, your response is pretty reaffirming. That's good. So the same thing, now that we have gotten so far down the well, I've even lost count of how many Lionos have been made. I think I own the vast majority of them. But my question is, Chitara and Tigra.
Yeah, and all of them, I'll give some fair credit. The original Deluxe Liono, as well as the light-up one, have a decent sculpt. Nothing else, though.
Obviously, they came out in DX. That was a great opportunity for collectors that couldn't get them in the main line. But what are the plans? Is there pinless bodies plans for those two also? Is there possibly, and this is me just throwing out that concept, is there any plans to maybe add like extra knee articulation for Chitara so she can pull off some really cool, like humanly realistic running poses? Because you could put her in a running pose, but it really kind of looks like she broke her knee. You know what I mean? It's just the way that the articulation is broken up in the knee area, the way the calf hits up on the back of the thigh. It really just kind of limits the range of motion for the character. So I think it would be a great opportunity to experiment, at least where it's necessary. Maybe with Chitara, you guys did it with Turtles, and not that you have to redo everybody again with double joints, but I think with Chitara, it's kind of more justified. Have you ever considered that?
We talked about it a bit. Once again, back to same thing when you were talking about the Thunder Tank. The goal for the first part of the goal for the line is how do you make it as accurate to screen as possible, right? And
which is why you failed every single time. You lying snake. You haven't made a single figure truly accurate to screen. You get something wrong on literally every single figure. And the fact that people are winking and nodding at this, knowing full well he is lying, find your balls.
The moment you start getting in, the good news on the Turtles was the double joints were really easily hidden behind all those knee pads and elbow pads and stuff. So you don't see that unsightly part that double joints just make.
Right.
So then you get...
Boo-hoo. If you don't want to see joints on something, Brian, go make plastic statues. I hear that Pop Mart's looking for people. Who cares? You're making an action figure. If it looks like an action figure, surprise, it's an action figure.
Get into that thing of aesthetics versus function. Where do we land? What are we trying to do?
I don't know. Figuarts does it just fine. NECA does it just fine. Marvel Legends does it just fine. Freaking McFarlane does it better than you. How?
And the same thing, because this line is so deep already, switching to double joints on figures right now, where they wouldn't match the rest of the line, I think would drive people up the fucking wall.
Nothing matches because you're a moron. Who cares? You never concern yourself with whether or not it's going to stress people's budgets. It never bothered you before. It didn't bother you during a freaking pandemic. Why would it now?
Pardon my French. Oops. But the few people that I've asked about it, they're like, oh, hell no. I would love that, but no. I think I need them to match. I think.
Yes, all three people who suck your toes, I'm sure, told you that.
At some point, there's a way to look at... I think there's something that we're going to try to look at that might be different than what you're thinking of, that can really make some of these people pose in a different way. So,
yeah, because I think that nowadays, what's very different from...
Just give them functional articulation. That would help. Just give them functional articulation. But you can't do that, can you, Brian? Because you just can't have anybody telling you that you need to fix something. Remember, you're a jerk if you do that.
From back in the day, obviously, like you say, trying to meet that silhouette and that aesthetic, is that nowadays you have a lot of toy photographers. A lot of people like to show off their collections and then post them in some cool poses or put an AI background and stuff like that. So a lot of people are just like, damn, I can't get my Chitara to look like she's naturally running. And even if we could do something like speed lines that can attach to the legs or something with the new Ultimates, something that would kind of favor...
There's no way you're going to be able to get Chitara to do a decent running pose unless you completely re-engineer the figure, because its chest articulation is completely pointless and useless. Because Brian's a moron, and so are everybody who works under him. Just going to say that flatly. I actually pissed off one of his sculptors about He-Man of all things. We're talking about He-Man Revelation. To the point where he blocked me. And then I found out later on he's a guy who sculpted Bengali. These are the softest people in the industry you will ever meet. If you give them criticism, they act like you shot their mother in cold blood and that you ate their dog in front of them. These people are actually so soft, it's sad.
That whole thing, which is basically your main power, which is the speed of the cheetah, where it's something new, something interesting, like you said, maybe not
to be a cheetah. Yeah, I think, like I said, I think I understand, especially for her character, why that is the sort of question. I think that there's something else that we're working on that might help answer that, but I can't really talk about it right now. It's more of a 2027 thing, quite frankly. You know, that feels like forever, but it's middle of November 2025 right now. 26 is only 6 weeks, 7 weeks away. Like, we're working on 27 right now. Like, there's something in there that I think will be interesting. So I don't want to get too far ahead. I think I also don't want to try to force something in there that doesn't feel correct, but I don't want to discount it either. And I understand exactly what you're asking about. So just, I would say in that way, maybe, you know, like, hold that thought. Just hold that thought. We know what you're asking about. And maybe there's a little something we talk about a little later.
You guys have done awesome stuff with the figures, so I'm sure that you'll come up with something cool and innovative and different that everybody's gonna want to buy. At least us core Thundercats fans, you know, like I understand that not everybody wants, you know, 2 or 3 versions of figures, let alone 10. But there are some of us still out there that will support the line to the very end, because that's at the end of the day, that's what it is. And now,
and I'm gonna support it so long as I can criticize it and tear you to pieces every single time. I've been giving this man 5 years, and he hasn't fixed anything. Which is actually kind of amazing that you're that consistently bad. That's actually impressive on its own.
You know, starting to be a toy creator myself, you have to explore the whole like checks and balances part, where it's like, how many times can I reuse this mold? How much money can I get out of this mold? And you know, because at the end of the day, if your business doesn't thrive, you can't continue making the figures, and you can't continue to create characters that people want. So it's all like, you know, it's a back and forth. And a lot of people don't see that. A lot of people have blinders, and they just focus on what they want in their collection. And I want this now, and you know, and why is this price up now? And it's like, hey, apparently you don't tune into the news. You don't know what's going on in the world. You know what I mean? So it's
oh no, we do. We just don't buy the stupidity, because that's what this is. A lot of times it's just trying to milk people for more money. Look, I'm in an industry that sells goods. I know full well that people do not actually charge what they pay. They take a pretty hefty profit. And $1 million man Brian here taking $1 million deals, he's not hard up for cash. He could lower the price and still make money.
It's very important. And the great thing with you is that you've always been very transparent with all that. So I think you've probably been the most vocal person in the sense of like giving that kind of...
SH Figure Arts articulation tends to be fantastic for the most part.
In your shoes perspective to customers and fans about the ins and outs and the challenges of being in the toy industry, you know? So that's something that's always been super informative and very appreciated.
I hope it comes off that way. I mean, there's definitely some people that view it exactly the opposite, but,
you know.
But once again, the internet is a scary place in some parts and a lovely place in others. So.
Yes, the opposite, aka people who are right.
We're just going to try to make all this stuff and have fun with it. And hopefully everybody else is having fun with it. I mean, I don't think that when we start, like if we go back to when we started this line, people were like, I want to buy this line because they're not even going to finish the core team. And at this point, I mean, we're pretty much at the point where we've made more characters. I don't know if it's even or we're close to making more characters than the original line even.
Oh, dude,
yeah, they're past that, I'll admit, but putting out slop after slop doesn't somehow count magically. But the truth of the matter is, the reason why people didn't think you were even going to get the core figures out, Brian, are you paying attention, Brian? It took you 2 years to put Wave 2 out, you drooling idiot. Gee, I wonder why they were worried. And then when it hit, oh God, there were problems all over the place. And you just said, well, too bad, suck it up. We got our money, screw you.
Well, you know, there's still some like somebody was like, "Where's Driller?" And it's like, hold on, you know, we know who hasn't been made. Come on,
yeah.
But you know, it's like
I bet you I could sit here and talk to him and he wouldn't have a clue. I can almost promise you, I could put out fake names, and he would talk about how they're hoping to get it made.
I don't think any of us would have imagined that we were able to go this far and continue to keep moving forward with it, which is even better.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting and an amazing time, like I've said before, to be a Thundercats fan, and you know, that's going to segue us into another really awesome toy.
Excited to be a Thundercat fan. Excited time to be a Thundercat fan. Don't ask questions, just consume product. Back and forth. Ask for additional product.
Right? Which is from the Rankin Bass universe, and that's Silverhawks. And let me tell you, man, the last wave of Ultimates, that was a really exciting wave. We got the debut of Melodia and some really awesome fan-demanded characters. So my question for you...
Oh, yes, the Super 7 Silverhawks wave or line that he lied about to begin with, saying, we can't do Vac Metal lines, it can't be done. And then 2 waves in, he started doing it. Huh, it's almost like he was rooking people.
Is this, will the pre-order model continue for that line, or will you be transitioning into pre-sales with those as well?
It's probably a bit more pre-order, because even for us, like when we were going into this last wave, like I felt pretty good about Melodia specifically. I was like, Melodia's going to do fine.
Oh, I'm sure she's going to be an absolute dumpster fire when people get her in hand. She probably won't be able to move at all because she's got that skirt. Her articulation's going to be garbage. Her joints are probably going to break in certain parts. Her hands probably aren't going to be able to hold her equipment. Let's be honest. If people are actually honest and are as critical with Super 7 as they should be, they wouldn't be putting up with this.
But I wasn't sure on hardware and tune. You know, I just wasn't sure. And I think for all of us, we had felt that this line might be
They sound like the LJN of action figures. Funny thing, guess who made the original Thundercats toy line?
Getting a little long in the tooth, and we weren't sure how it was going to do. And I will say that we were surprised. Like, so this last wave with Melodia and hardware and tune and all that wave actually performed better than the wave before it. So that's been really exciting, because then it's like, oh wait, okay, maybe is there going to be, as we get away from core characters, are we going to have?
What do you mean getting away from core characters? Hardware and Melodia are core characters, you stupid crackhead. They're in the freaking intro, you deranged, drug-addled lunatic.
Enough people here to keep this line going, and to our surprise, it did better than we thought. So that actually makes us feel really good about the next wave or two, or how far we can go. So I'm feeling really good about it, actually. But once again, like, this just, I can never remember anymore because I'm living in 27. I mean, did this pre-order close yet or not? I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think it did close.
But I know in general, like, we were.
That's his excuse for every single time he's called to question about something. Well, my mind's already in the future. I can't talk about something I've already put out there. Clown.
Surprised by the response to this wave. It was stronger than we expected. Like I said, I expected Melodia, but I was very...
It's stronger than you expected because you're a drooling idiot. Of course they're going to want to pre-order and get a hold of main core villains. I'm so surprised, Brian. How did you not know that? Idiot.
Nervous about the other characters. And then they performed well too. So, it really does set up that we should be able to keep going. But I would say that most likely the next wave of Silverhawks will also be a pre-order, and if it continues to like bump back up rather than coming back down, then we'll be like, okay, we feel really good that we know we've got this many people and we can really keep going forward for a while. Mm-hmm. So, but I would say that, it felt like Silverhawks felt like Silverhawks was possibly getting to the point where maybe we had got everything everybody wanted, but I was really happy with this. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a solid wave. I think every figure lends its own, weight of excitement to it. Melodia looks great. It's just, the colors really pop. It's just a very, like, happening and like vibrant assortment of figures, man. It's awesome. But I did want to ask about the super packs, because I did forget about mentioning that. Is that something that you're going to continue in the future with Thundercats and Silverhawks? Because I really like the idea of doing that.
Yeah, and that's sort of not to be crass about it, but that's sort of a thank you to anybody that's buying it direct from us, because it is better for us if you buy it directly from us. So how do we give a little bonus thank you from ordering directly from Super 7? And that's what the super pack's all about. It's because you're saying thank you to somebody that's also supporting the line as a whole.
Right.
They're not sort of just picking out a figure here or a figure there. Like, no, I'm supporting your whole line.
Yeah, God forbid you show that type of courtesy to anybody who buys the product. Now, overall, I don't care if, like, it comes... Okay, here, I'll put it this way. If Brian put together, like, the wave, and it comes with a super pack, which is usually different heads, sometimes different accessories, different heads for the figures, and whoever pre-ordered through him got them for free, but you can still order them on the site directly, individually, if you wanted, then he'd be able to just do whatever he wants and it'd be fine. But the fact that he is trying to essentially gate additional product to that deranged level, that's just scumbag behavior, frankly.
And so therefore, I get these extra things.
It's a great incentive, and I'm kind of glad that Wizra actually wasn't in this wave, because that potentially has an opportunity to have him in a wave that has a super pack. Because I think it would be really cool if we had a Mumra with the Wizra headpiece.
I wouldn't know what you were talking about. Never heard of it. That's really...
Yeah, dude. That would be so epic. So I'm so glad that he's not coming out for Christmas. That's all I could say. But so with Reaction Plus, I gotta tell you, man, like, I'm an articulation dude. Like, I love and I appreciate vintage stuff. I'm not that big into Reaction because I can't do a lot with them. Mm-hmm. All the Reactions that I own, they're like mint on card on my wall, and they look great and I appreciate them for what they are. But Reaction Plus, I love the fact that you've expanded into like Universal Monsters and stuff like that. Are there any plans to incorporate the Rankin Bass universe into Reaction Plus?
Please, no.
No comment.
Okay, that's a good answer.
I will say it's something we definitely talked about. It's not in 26, but we're definitely looking at something like that for maybe 27. But it really sort of depends. Like, what I don't want to do is then make it be like, oh my God, you're killing me. You're making too much stuff. So
understood. And I'm curious to know about a little wave that was supposed to come out first quarter of 2020.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out in 1943 and still not out. That is on the schedule for January.
When are these creatures
people showing up?
surfacing from the depths of the ocean?
It's January.
January 26th?
January 26th.
Is that like official?
Oh, that's official.
And are we looking at what, a 3-wave assortment, a 3-figure assortment, 4-figure assortment?
I'm trying to remember right now if it's 3 or 4. I'm living in next year. I can't remember, but it will be a pre-order, not a pre-sale.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense. So January, is there any possibility of seeing any kind of sneak peeks towards the end of the year, or are you going to just wait for 2026 to be on the come?
I think if you're talking about what we want, if you're talking about it from a let's talk about my job as managing the content and the flow of product, it's like we're going to want to talk about what's happening in the moment. So we're going to be like, all right, hey, here's this stuff is landing, this stuff is arriving. We're going to want to talk about the stuff that's happening right then. So we probably really won't talk about it till we get to basically right at January, only because there's plenty to talk about in between now and then. And so let's not.
I think the phrase Hasbro doesn't need people to make them look bad. They do it just fine on their own. Needs a Super 7 version. There is one. It's called Subpar 7.
I don't know. Let's not we want to make sure we give that stuff its time to shine.
Again, we got this really cool fan art from Lyin. But he did such an awesome job. And he reached out to me this morning and he's like, dude, can I do some cartoons for your interview? And I'm like, go for it, bro. And he's like, wow, he just did this tiger shark. I just gave him like a quick doodle and he just did this cartoon. It's freaking cool. Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, because I don't know if you remember or if you were part of that world, but back in the day when McFarlane was like was like their heyday before they started this whole DC universe thing. They had their message boards, or like it's like the McFarlane message board or fan club or something. They used to do something really cool that I haven't seen any other toy creator do, and I thought it was really exciting. And it wouldn't give things away, but it would build hype. And it was silhouettes. They would show these very high res silhouettes, and that's all. And then people had this guessing game, like, holy shit, what is that? Is that spikes in the back? It's like, what? And it was so exciting, you know. So
it would be harder for Brian to do that because none of his figures match the on-screen appearances of the characters.
I think something like at the end of the year, like a New Year's Eve gift or something would be cool. To show like a silhouette.
Well, if you're not going to tell me which figures it is, then you give me a silhouette. If you're not going to give me a silhouette, I want a line list.
You do like a group shot. You do like a group shot, and then everybody bleeds into each other. So you know what I mean? I'm just really honestly saying that not because I'm trying to get as much information out of you.
No. I don't want it to be negative. I just think the people that we have here that are in charge of PR are very specific about how they feel is the best way to bring the information out so that the most people see it and we get the most traction out of it.
Yeah.
You could get the most traction out of it by not putting out trash. I don't know, man.
So I think I don't expect that they're going to want to really like do a long tease into it. It's more like, no, we'll start teasing it a week or so beforehand and really focus on the moment. And I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that, at the same time, I'm sure it's going to be very easy for most people to guess pretty much who's going to be in wave 1,
Well, yeah, I mean, like from what you did with Silverhawks, I'm thinking you're probably going to do like D-Ray, like do like the main hero and the main villain in wave 1 or between wave 1 and 2. It depends because with Silverhawks, there was 2 iterations of the villain. So you were able to do one in the first wave and another one in the second wave. But, it'll be interesting to see how that rolls out. But yeah, ever since you announced Tiger Sharks, people have just been like really like it's like that meme. It's like you got the Tiger Sharks.
Yeah. A little bit that Tiger Sharks. Yeah, I was going to try to look at the calendar here real quick, but it's not working.
So as far as Ultimates are concerned, you're doing the 2012 Turtles. Are you? What's going on with DMD?
You mean the 2003 Turtles? Hello? Did we lose Jorge?
I'm not sure what happened there, Brian. We did actually lose. Yeah, he dropped off for a second. It's really we have some technical difficulties.
Hey, everybody, we're getting back here. You get the man behind the scenes over here.
I'm just here. I'm enjoying the conversation, and it's been wonderful listening to both of you guys discuss this. And I don't know if you've been seeing it, Brian. I'm pretty sure you have. There's a lot of love in the chat.
There's a bunch of comments, but I'm usually talking to.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm not getting to read. It's been very positive. I mean, a lot of people are just expressing their admiration, and a lot of people are saying
positive.
I'll take a couple here so we
gotta keep the dopamine going, guys.
Yeah, that'd be great. So let's take a look here. Of course, everyone's wondering what happened to Wizraw, but that was answered a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
The scheduling.
Spoiler alert! I ruined this for people very quickly when I show up because I didn't even know this was happening because it was live until Ryan Laserpants from the 3POA podcast, which if you're a toy collector, I do recommend them for a podcast, right? Said, "Hey, Lyo, check this out." And we had a little fun in chat.
And of course, leaks are things that happen all the time, unfortunately. But now we know that this is a 2-figure wave, and we're excited to.
Also, I think it's important here that we had a technical issue on this upcoming wave. So on King Lion-O, the belt in the render is not the belt on the toys. So that is.
Oh no, the render's not accurate. You don't even get the logo accurate, you crackhead.
We sent the wrong file to our internal rendering team. Not the file that is at the factory, not the one that got made. And I wish I literally have another sample in the mail so I can literally hold it up, but I can't yet. But the King Lion-O that is coming has the correct belt with all the insignias on it.
Oh my god,
that is the render. The render was an older file and it doesn't have the updated belt. So I think it's. I want to just for everybody that's asking or wondering what's going on. It's, that was an updated file, obviously using parts from an older toy. So the one that's actually being made has the correct belt, but when we sent the file to our team to render it up, we sent the wrong belt. So
I don't know, man. I don't know if I can believe anything he says under Tiger's
Brian just confirmed that the correct belt with all of the insignias collected throughout the trials is actually the one that's going to be included with.
Yeah. And like I said, there's another sample because it's getting ready to ship. So we've got one being mailed over, and I don't have it to hold up, but then I'd be like, no, it's finished, tool done. It's got the correct belt, but when we sent the files to be rendered, they were
that's bonkers. That's awesome news.
I do have one. Okay, so go ahead for that one.
So this was a pretty good question from Ultra Mago 3. Condor's antenna on the side of his head. Is it going to be sticking up like it's supposed to?
Who cares?
It should. So it hasn't gone to. I'll double check.
Because he doesn't. That's the only reason why I say it.
Sometimes left hand, right hand, a little bit there.
Yeah, sometimes the renders don't always come up.
Well, it's also sort of like you're moving and spinning things and rearranging parts so they look correct. When you're rendering them, and sometimes things move. Sometimes, most of the time, you catch all that stuff.
Okay, but sometimes it slips through the cracks. 100%. This one is probably. I'm not sure you can answer this question or not, but Micah does have a super chat here, which we would like to just acknowledge. Brian, Black Star.
There's Brave Star, Black Star. There's a lot of that stuff that would be really awesome to make, wouldn't it? Usually the reason that it's not being made is because it's caught up in controversy. But like this person owns part of it, this person owns part of it.
That's not true for either of those products or either of those intellectual properties. He doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to them. I hope that he never gets a hold of Brave Star. That would be an absolute travesty if somehow Lyin Brian was given a license that belongs to Mattel to make figures that are subpar and garbage. Be awful.
They don't get along, or no one's sure who owns what. So there's a couple licenses like that we've been trying to get for years. There's one that just got announced recently. We're like, I've been asking for that for 4 years. Like, how did that get announced by somebody else? And like,
because you suck.
But a lot of it is, it's the same reason. Like the easiest example is Blade Runner. Blade Runner is three different millionaires that own a third each of Blade Runner, and they all hate each other. And so if one of them wants to do something, the other two say no, screw you. So that's why nothing ever gets made for Blade Runner.
Wow,
that's crazy. Because you think about it, you're like, why does nothing get made for Blade Runner? Like, why does nothing get made for Mad Max? Well, that's because the director doesn't like product, so he says, no, I don't want product made. The people at the studio want the next Mad Max movie, so they say, okay, we're not going to make any product. But
based.
I mean, come on. Like the fact that there isn't a humongous toy is kind of insane.
It goes hand in hand. That's kind of like what people are used to. Consumers, you watch a movie, you want articles.
We're preaching to the choir, though. All right.
I mean, no. Okay, once in chat, if you saw Casablanca and you wanted an action figure of anybody from that series, like seriously, that's good lord, it's embarrassing.
It's crazy. I don't know what I did, man, but I just kind of like swiped my hand like I did like a Jedi move over my mouse.
I'm done with you.
And I exited the freaking chat, dude.
Yeah,
but I was just about to ask, what's up with D&D animated? Like, I know that a lot of it was resting on the Tiamat's performance.
Yeah, Tiamat seems to be doing all right. I would say it's still in limbo. I would love nothing more to make it. And quite frankly, we've sculpted a bunch of it already.
Gee, I wonder why nobody really bought into the D&D run. Maybe because they were more expensive than the freaking Hasbro versions that were like a quarter of the price and had better articulation. Wasn't exactly the most standout line ever, I'll be honest about that. But gee, they got a better product for cheaper a couple of years ago. Why wouldn't they want to spend more than that for garbage? Big think there.
I don't know. In a perfect world, the way I'd really love to try to do it would be some sort of like, almost like, I hate to call it a Kickstarter, but like, hey, we got to get to this point or not. Are there enough people? I think there's a lot of people that love that line, but not enough. But we're gonna see. I don't know. I just don't.
Kickstarter would be cool, especially like if you focus on
legally. It becomes there's a whole lot of issues around it legally and how we report stuff. Like if you're a small company, it's not a big deal. But like where we are and the way our contracts are done, like, and if you're taking money, but when you're taking money and what you're doing and are you promising something? Like there's a whole bunch of weird hurdles around that. But yeah, I mean, we scripted out like 6 waves of deals.
Like, am I the only person in the toy collecting sphere who doesn't actually think he needs an action figure of every single thing I like? Like no, seriously, I didn't watch Seven Samurai or Yojimbo or Sanjuro or any of that and say, you know what? I need an action figure of that character. Am I the only person? Like, seriously.
In the Ultimates. Because I was getting real nerdy real quick. I mean, why do you think there's Shadow Warriors, right in the beginning,
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, I honestly, like, I have the Hasbro figures. I haven't even opened them, dude. I just have them because of, like, the nerd, the imagery and the fact that, that was all you could own back then until you announced the Ultimate stuff. But I didn't even open them because, I heard a lot of bad things about them, too. And, obviously...
If you're sitting there dogging on Hasbro for their figures, but you're sitting there giving Super 7 a pass for the factually wrong things with theirs, you're kind of a clown, dude.
The Ultimates is a better arena because you have the different, like...
The only reason anybody would want a U.S. Congress action figure to use is to use them as voodoo dolls.
The different portraits, the different accessories. Hasbro is just like one pair of hands, like one head. It's like you don't really have that variation of accessories and the way to change display modes on the characters and stuff like that. So it's I'm hopeful that that'll keep going forward and that we'll see some new ones in the future. But like you said, it has to be done at the right time.
It's like I would love nothing more than to make them. It's one of those properties that right now I think is just sitting right in the middle between, there's a lot of people that want it, but not enough people. But we'll just kind of have to see. Like as Tiamat continues to go, we'll just have to see how that really kind of nets out, and then we'll see. I mean, trust me. If nothing, the guys from Toys Hunter Hollow text me on a daily basis asking when the next wave is coming out. Great dudes.
Yeah, they're super cool guys.
Yeah, they're wonderful. But yeah, it's like they are ready. They're ready, and they're organizing the team.
So I wanted to ask you because like we keep talking about with Thundercats, it's like you've gone so far down the well, and of course there is still a lot of awesome ancillary characters, villains, mutants, things like that. But how many Linos? How many Tigers? Yeah. But here's the thing: I got the answer for you. Why don't you start delving into the 2012 Cartoon Network?
Yeah, because you can't even get the 80s one right. Yeah, let's do the newer one better. Let's go ahead and do that, even though Bandai's articulation even 15 years ago was better than what you're doing now. But yeah, doing a 2011 cartoon. I'm sure you're an idiot.
Talk about that.
Hey, give us a 2012 Lino.
I can't talk about that.
Mix it in with Rankin Bass.
Yeah, that would be a really good idea if we were going to do something like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, dude. I mean, honestly, I could say I was really excited back.
If he does it, I'm going to bully him. I've gotten beyond criticism at this point. I'm just going to bully Brian.
Then when the animated series was announced and everything, there wasn't really anything out there aside from, I think, Hard Hero was doing like a Thundercats line for statues. And I was excited, but Bandai was all over the place, dude. They changed the scales. They were inconsistent with the figures. Like, they gave you 2 4-inch figures. They gave you 2 LJN homage figures. It was just a hot mess. And
they didn't give you any LJN homage figures. The reason they changed the scale for the deluxe figures, at least for like the vintage Thundercats Classics, is because Motu Classics collectors were crying that it wasn't in scale with their He-Man figures. Because people in their 30s and 40s, for some reason, care about whether or not all their figures are the same scale. Oh my god, I don't care. I so don't care. I'm not, like, bashing them together like that.
And there was these concepts, I think they were sculpted out and everything, that were like these more like collector-based 2012
there I am.
figures. And I think it was Action Figure Digest that posted images of
pull it back
it looked so rad. And I think if you guys were to give it the ultimate treatment, that would be such an awesome figure, dude. Especially now with also you got Dynamite Comics in the mix. Although, quite frankly, I'm more partial to the 2012 look for Lino. I think it's unique enough to justify a new figure because the new comics is basically the same Lino, but he's wearing pants. You know, it's not really too much of a difference. But the 2012, it's a very different aesthetic.
It's a massive difference. Oh my god!
You know,
I'm keenly aware of exactly what's going on there.
That's
no, their designs are completely different. What are you on? Like, I've been trying not to be too mean to this guy, whoever this guy is, but good God, now you just can't even see right.
That's a very refreshing response from you on that matter. But yeah, no, I did really want to know about D&D because obviously that's another really awesome property. And is there any other like brand announcements or any licensing that is in the horizon that may be announced as far as joining the Ultimate family? You know, anytime soon?
I don't know when announcements will happen. There's going to be a really big one for Deluxe though. That'll be really cool. That I think
big one in the sense of scale.
If it's Deluxe, you know what it is. So
right. There's another big one, so it's like a big character,
a big license.
You know, big license. Okay, yeah. And you know that's something that I wanted to ask you about DX. Obviously, you can't shrink Mumra. So how do you bring Mumra to DX? Like, would he be a higher?
This is where the magic comes in. This is where the magic comes in.
You got the jazz hands. You're figuring it out.
Yeah. We're working on it. Don't worry, we're working on it.
Cool.
You know, that's because that's another one where it's the same. Like, how do you do it? But he's big.
So his name is JP. Don't mistake passion for addiction.
But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
That's awesome. I want to see if there's any good questions here.
Oh, you'll see some. Don't worry.
I've seen a couple pop up about MF Doom. Like we're trying, we're working on it.
And MF Doom Ultimate would be awesome.
It's funny, Crossbones, that you use that word because that's going to be used here pretty soon.
So awesome. Let me see.
We do have a bunch of great comments coming in, guys. I did want to just highlight the super chats just so that we can recognize all those guys. Laserpants says hi, Brian. How are you doing?
Howdy, Laserpants.
And Snell's World, ever revisit the Cobra ship at a more competitive price? Is there any chance?
We've talked about it internally that we would love to come back to it. I don't know if there's a more competitive price for it. It's gigantic. There's just, you know, big pieces, big tooling. That's all there is. But we've talked about whether or not at some point there's an interest in possibly bringing it back now that the O-ring of the Action Plus
tool in this room
great, and we're excited about it. But not in the plans at the moment.
A quick follow-up question. Do we know who owns Silverhawks now?
Warner Brothers owns Silverhawks.
Still. Okay.
Why did Laserpants ask that? Well, time to go to the reading screen for just a moment. So this was in 2021. The Nacelle Company partners with Silverhawks LLC to bring back the animated series Silverhawks. Well, who is Silverhawks LLC? Well, it's interesting because it says here, Silverhawks LLC's sole purpose is to bring back the magical world of the Silverhawks to fans of a new generation while staying true to the roots of the original content and viewers for years to come. Please visit partlymentalpartlyreal.com for more information. So why Super 7 mentioned here? Oh, that's right. Because Brian was going around saying he owned Silverhawks. That he bought Silverhawks. That it belonged to him. And shortly after running around saying that, we all noticed something. All the Silverhawks stuff from his website disappeared. Huh. Why was that? Well, because, surprise, surprise, Warner Brothers got word and said, wait a minute. No, you don't. We own it. And that's why Laserpants asked him, who owns Silverhawks? Because it is not Brian freaking Flynn. It never was, never will be. It's Warner Brothers. In fact, I'm gonna be a little bit of a dick here for a moment. I'm gonna find something. I want to show you how incompetent this man is when it comes to Silverhawks. All right? Give me just a moment here. Because I forgot to look this up before the stream. Save image. I don't save anything as a WebB, you moron. Commit Harakiri. Let's see if that worked. Could I open that? Nope. Snipping tool it is. Una momento, my dear chat. Do-do-do-do. So we're going to save this image. Sorry for the dead air. We won't be much longer, because this is very funny. Lecture head. Awesome, awesome, perfect. I found the perfect comparison here. So, question. If you saw a Batman toy line that could not get the bat symbol right, would you buy it? Would you buy it? I think I know the answer to that. I think the answer would be no. Why? Well, the logo's wrong, and if you can't even get the logo right, what are we to trust you on? Right? So, an insane ask. So, just going to bring us into the images, at least just for a moment, before we get to the hardcore stuff. This is what the logo for the Super 7 Ultimate Silverhawks releases look like. This is the logo they use on the box. Notice the Hawk here has a bump and then a bump in the beak for some reason, right? You see that? Look at how it's formatted. Look how unfilled it is. Here's the real logo. So, again, just to make sure we're clear, the Super 7, the real one. Super 7, real one. Can you see how different they are in terms of how well they're done? And the fact that the real one doesn't have random dips in the skull and the beak, and that the bottom jaw isn't a mess? Idiot couldn't even get the primary logo on the main part of the packaging right, but thought he owned this product. Thought he owned this license. And people just said, well, that's fine. You're a bunch of plastic addicted losers. And I love bringing that up. I don't know if it's AI. I don't think it is. It's predated the AI fad. But he just gets logos wrong all the time. And we'll get into that shortly. We will. Trust me.
Anybody else I saw some really good questions. So, circling back to the Tiamat question, did it sell well enough to go for another round of Dungeons & Dragons Ultimates?
It's still working its way through, but it's feeling pretty good. As far as to do well enough and everything, it's still a little up in the air, but it's doing well. So it's a good sign. But like I said, we're all just going to have to kind of be cautious and take our time a little bit with that one.
Here's a really good one from our friend Motocomic. Ryan, will you continue with illustrations on the back of the boxes? And I think the reason he's mentioning this is because King Lyin is a rendering of them.
Yeah, they're both renders.
They're not going to do it because they're using AI. They're not going to pay. They're not going to pay artists anymore. They're using AI.
There are some outside reasons that I cannot get into on why, but unfortunately they will not be illustrations. They will be renders for the time being.
Okay. One more question. This one's actually interesting because I'm kind of interested in this too. Any more plans to get the deluxe treatment? For example, G.I. Joe, would they be for the DX line perhaps?
It would be lovely to do. No on G.I. Joe specifically, because then it would be a direct competition to what's going on in classified. So no.
That makes a lot of sense. That totally makes sense.
But there are some other...
I mean, it wouldn't be, though. I'm not the biggest fan of classifieds, but they smoke Super 7's Ultimates any day of the week.
Deluxes that we were talking about. And obviously there's another license that we'll announce a little bit later at that point too.
Yeah. CB Hunts is actually asking, are we going to get Panthro and the Thunder Kittens into the DX line?
I can't tell you what's coming out yet. I can tell you what's out now, but I can't tell you what's coming out next. Sorry, CB.
Incorrect, John Sampson. But if that's the best way you can cope, you go right for it. I'm sure that if Super 7 gave you a Lion-O with two right hands, like it appeared in, what was the episode? The Astral Plane? Astral Prison? No, it was two left hands. Would you be fine with that? Well, I mean, that's what happened in the animation. Surely you would. Or the one time He-Man's sword was through his head. I'm sure that would be fine, too. Oh, wait, no, it wouldn't be. Because you should be going by the model sheets and by the cell colors, because that's the control for the show itself, and they all had the correct logo. Cope.
Everybody wants to know.
But, it would make a lot of sense. I can't tell you who, what, when, where, how.
Super 7's track record so far. There's the answer.
When are we going to get the Wave 2 of Silverhawks reaction?
I don't think we're going to get Wave 2 of Silverhawks. Silverhawks reaction Wave 1 did a wonderful swan dive to the deep end.
Oh, no.
Gee, I wonder why.
I'll rephrase it. It performed surprisingly poorly.
Because you are putting out subpar product that looks awful, can barely move, people can just go buy the vintage ones that are better in literally every way. And somehow have better articulation than yours.
where you're like, whoa, nobody wanted that.
That's crazy. I can't see why. The right scale, the right color.
It's one of those things that you just never know. And that's, you'll have a wave of something that you don't expect to do well. It does phenomenal. And you'll have something that you expect to do really well. And it does terrible. It's surprising sometimes. I mean, in here, I'll use it as the same example. The 5.5-inch vintage line for Thundercats did terrible. I thought people were going to like that, but no. And then there's vintage 5.5.
I addressed this in chat. He doesn't go over it. You want to know why it failed? His 5.5 vintage style, the He-Man style Thundercat figures. Because we got them already in 2019 via Savage World's Thundercats line for $15 each, and you're charging $30 for something worse, you idiot. And this is the problem I have with corporate buffoons like Brian and the people who enable them. Not at any point do they actually look at the reason why something failed. They just act like it was out of their control, or they don't know the reason, and just play pretend it couldn't possibly be their fault. If your marketing team is so woefully incompetent that they couldn't find out about a toy line that was made 6 years ago and covered by most YouTubers in this field, you need to fire them and then fire yourself and then fire yourself from life.
Vince Panther was shown at the con. Is that coming in time for Christmas? No, nobody wanted those 5.5-inch Thundercats, which boggles my mind.
Oh. So, okay, well, here's one.
Sad.
Leo Conroy, why is Thundercats logo incorrect in the fast 5 waves of figures? Where do you source your colors and character charts from?
When he said, which Thundercats logo is he talking about?
Yeah, that's not very specific. I mean, like certain...
I'm glad he asked. I'm glad he asked. We'll get into that in a minute.
This is no Dan homage.
I was about to say.
This is made to be that way.
Now, here's the thing. They go on, like, a tirade about things I never even said to try to justify or try to skirt around what I was getting at. So we'll listen to that.
And that's exactly the way it is in the original toy, because I have it, and I love it. And so that was such a great...
Wasn't talking about that toy.
Belt logos? Are we talking about packaging? Like, what are we talking about?
I'm talking about the belt logos. That's why I said the logos on the figures.
What belt logo? I don't think you could... You know.
The one on toys.
So we're talking about the belt logo here.
Which toy, though? Like, he's not being very specific.
He's saying that every single one in the last 5 waves was incorrect?
I don't think that's actually true. I mean, I've seen the tempo is very good in most of them. So.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
On the figures. I've never really had a problem with any of them. They look pretty good to me.
Yeah, and actually, I want up in his DMs about it. He thinks they're fine. I don't. We're going to get into that in a minute.
He's saying that they're reversed. They're facing the wrong direction?
I never said they were facing the wrong direction. Brian, I know by looking through your glasses you're barely able to see, but oh my god, pay attention, you drooling idiot.
No, I don't think so. They look fine to me. Fascinating.
I don't know. That sounds like a very...
It's kind of spacious. It's kind of...
Spacious? I actually cite things, because you'll see in a minute.
Spacious, but they're not reversed. Okay, well, all right. You'll prove it. Okay, well, I mean, that's... Sure. Leo Convoy does have a channel, so you guys can take a look, and probably he's going to make a video on that. Any chance that Palmyra has...
I told him I was going to send it to him in DMs, and I did. So let's take a look at those. Let me get to the images that I need to, right? And of course, he didn't put them on screen. Now, maybe he didn't see it in time or whatever, but here's what I did. Let me pull it up. So, here's the one on young Lyin. Keep a good look at this. And keep in mind, in a minute, they're gonna lose their minds at me because I said something negative, and it just makes the entire chat lose it. And the funny thing is, I wasn't even paying attention to the chat. I'd actually left my office to go get these pictures. So here's young Lion's belt logo, right? Come on. Here's the logo on the sword, also the wrong logo. Logo on one of the spacebords, the wrong logo. Logo on Wily Cat, wrong logo. Jaga, wrong logo. Spaceboard for Wily Kit, wrong logo. Same with that one, or Wily Cat rather. And then, well, what do I mean this is the wrong logo? I want you to take a very close look at this. You see this? You see that dip in the ear? You see that eye that's not centered? You see the lack of a pronounced nose? You see the lack of, well, basic shape language in this from the original logo? I'm going to show you why. This is the logo they are using. The dip in the ear, the uncentered eye, the lack of nose, all that. This logo they got from Google Images, but its origin point, if you go to Season 1, Part 1's DVD with the special feature of the Rembrandts, this is the logo they put on their bass drum. That's what they have been using, because this is the logo they're using. This is the real one. Huh. It's almost like one's done by an actual draftsman who knew what he was doing, and it's very sharp, very iconic, very pointed, very easy to freaking find. But they don't use it. Why don't they use it? Let's find out. We're going to find out together, chat. We're going to find out together why they're not using the actually correct logo.
Accurate. That's a good question. That's probably a question that I think a lot of people would like to know.
But you guys did make a shorter Palmyra than Mattel's. I mean,
yes, ours is shorter.
It was.
By a quarter of an inch.
If you pick up the Super 7 Ultimates, she is shorter because I believe the heels, or the platform on the heels is not as high, right?
Yeah.
And as far as Lyle Convoy is saying we're not using it from Google Images, that would be incorrect. We get all of the logos directly from Tim, who has all the Thundercats archives.
Who is Tim? Who has all the Thundercat archives?
So that's where we're getting it from.
And all the original art, which is why they can't get a single body right? Because they have all the original art. Oh my goodness. Let's see who Tim is. Because I know who Tim is. So I'm going to take you to a very special Facebook page. I'm on a roll today. This is the Thundercats Now Facebook page. Now let's see what they post. You would assume this website, this Facebook page, would talk about a whole bunch of their love of the original series, yada yada, all that stuff, right? Maybe interviews with the original creators, you know, all the fancy stuff, all the fancy cool stuff. You want to see interviews with creators, you want to see interviews with people who worked on the animation maybe, right? You'd want to see that type of neat stuff. What do they do? Oh, look. Promoting Super 7 toys. Promoting Super 7 toys. Promoting Super 7 toys. Wait, who's that? Who's this? Tim? Promoting Super 7 toys. Promoting AI-drawn shoes for Thundercats. A Pixel Dan book that's not even Thundercats related. A Super 7 toy. The Mattel toys. Random pins. The Mondo line. More pins. More random tchotchkes. Super 7 toy. Super 7 product. Super 7 product. Super 7 product. By the way, this Trick or Treat Sword of Omens here also has a wrong logo on it. Thank you, Tim. You incompetent clown. Super 7 toy. Super 7 toy. New garbage comic. Super 7 toy. And it's all freaking Tim. He's a shill. The man who runs this is a shill for a company he's giving the wrong data to because he's a moron who doesn't know what he's doing. So let's get back to the video because you're about to see them lose their minds.
Yeah,
I think that pretty much. I think that answered the actual question 100%. Okay, I think that's there's a lot of great comments here. We just can't get to every single one.
No, of course.
We want to thank.
If you look at so CB Hunt's question there, if you look at the deluxe lino, there was a running change actually made on that too. So there are actually two ever so slightly different skin tones along the way. So the ones that hit the shelves in the beginning, the color was a little bit off. If you look at the ones that if you ordered one now, no, on the regular lino.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the one, if you were to order one right now and it would show up, it would be a slightly different skin tone.
Oh, so it's not yeah, because I did get one from you guys and it was it looked like kind of like a semi-translucent finish on the main skin.
Yeah, I can't speak to that. That seemed a little bit. It just wasn't. The color was really close, but not quite. And so as it was going, like same thing. This is what we approved. This is what goes into a lot of times, even when the paint is drying, it'll change colors ever so slightly. So we actually made a running change on that. So because like the first batch came and then we made a second batch, and then the second batch has a slightly changed skin tone. So if you were to order one right now and get it, because also the thing is with the deluxes, they stay in stock for a while. That's the point. Is yeah, you will see that skin tone has been changed.
So it matches the Ultimate one a little closer. Is that what it is?
I don't have it here.
I recently got the LED lineup, and
yeah, we're talking about the deluxes though.
Yeah, okay. So the deluxe, but I'm saying the deluxe Rankin Bass one, right?
The deluxe regular sort of core. Here's my lino.
Right.
There's a change in the skin tone as we went through it, so it moves more accurate.
Okay. Yeah, this makes sense because it makes sense that obviously the paint hits are going to be.
Hey, I want to address this here real quick though.
Yeah, which one? Oh.
Guess that's why Tim shills the toys so much. Then LOL. It's like that's just I would say that's just basically a shitty thing to say.
Boo-hoo! Boo-hoo, you big baby! Oh no! I called out something that happened. I told the truth about someone who you're a big old meanie. Kill yourself, Brian.
Like the dude has done more for Thundercats archives than anybody else on the planet.
Incorrect. Because you know what? I have an entire Google Drive, 500 pieces of production art, including cell-accurate colors. You're a piece of garbage, Brian. You're an idiot. You have no clue what you're talking about. You never have. You never will. Because if it was so good, if he knew his stuff so well, why is the wrong logo on everything? Why are all the colors on your figures inaccurate? Why can not a single one of them match the actual body styles of the production material?
He has everything, and he's gone out of his way to spend an insane amount of money to pull it all together.
No, he hasn't. Where is it, Brian? Huh? Can you show me? Because I linked Jay here, my stuff, which is accurate and works. Prove it, mushmouth.
And he freely gives the logos away to anybody that wants to use them.
Yes, the wrong one, stupid!
So that they have the correct logos on the packaging.
But it's not correct, is it? Not on the figures, where it counts.
So if you want, when Trick or Treat did the sword,
yeah,
like they said, hey, can we get that logo? And I was like, well, go to Tim.
The logo's wrong! The logo's wrong! You idiot! You just proved my point. I'm gonna pull it up. Give me a second here. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. I love it. I love this. I hate this stupid WebP file. Who does that? Who actually uses that file format? Tell me. Somebody actually tell me. Do you guys use that file format? Because I couldn't. It's worthless. But I'll see if it works this time around. All right. So here we go, guys. I don't even need to go to the reading screen. Look, look, look. Is this the right logo? No. This is not the right logo. You drooling simpleton. In fact, you know, he gives them all the right information. He knows what he's doing. He's done more than anybody else. Fun fact, the other side of this sword that has the Eye of Thundera, the eye's black. Find me an episode in the original Thundercats where the Eye of Thundera is black. And I mean the cat eye slit. Find me one. Spoiler alert, you won't be able to. Why? Doesn't exist. Because that's not what it looks like. Because that's never been what it's supposed to look like. Brian, you're a liar and an idiot. You put your foot in your mouth so easily that it's almost pitiable. This is funny, and I will bully you over this.
Tim is the source of that, and Tim gave them the logo for free.
Tim's an idiot. Tim gave them the wrong logo. Tim, I hope you watch this. I hope you pay attention. You're a clown, a shill, and a moron.
He doesn't get paid anything for all that stuff. Right. So
you can literally go to Google Images and find the right logo. Why are you sitting there talking about like it's some sort of charity case? I gave Brian, like I know he watches my content, and you'll see proof of that shortly. I gave him access to all this years ago, and he didn't pay attention.
You know, I feel like, once again, we're all a bunch of nerdy toy collectors here, so the idea that you're going to be angry or elitist against another one of your own that's helping to get stuff done, I feel like that's just kind of shitty.
Boo-hoo! Boo-hoo! I'm calling out somebody for being wrong. I'm calling out you for making crap quality product. I'm calling out him for giving you incorrect information. If you had a brain, Brian, between that hollow set of skull you got there, between the top and bottom there, maybe there's a middle, I don't know, maybe you'd recognize, maybe this guy who's been criticizing me for 5 years, putting actual pen to paper on it, being able to show me where I'm wrong and how I'm wrong by doing actual side-by-sides of the show model and the action figure in the same screen, maybe he knows what he's talking about. Tim's a shill. That's why he's there, and that's why you tolerate it. That's why you're backing him up here. Not because he's right. I just objectively proved that he's wrong, but you'll back him because he's your shill. Because he pumps your product out like a pimp.
Yeah. You know, and I'm not trying to be a complete dick about it, but it's like, why are you hating on Tim?
Because I'm right. And you can try to be a dick because you already tried once and I bullied you into the ground over that. We'll see that soon. From 4 years ago, we're going to see it. You're a joke, Brian. Come on my channel anytime. Actually have the conversation with me to see how far you get. Because I'm not like these two, and I have nothing negative inherently to say about Jay other than the fact that maybe, just maybe, he should have put on his big boy pants and actually looked in the DMs. Because here's the thing. Who else talks about Thundercats factually on YouTube? Who knows this property? It's not Tim. It's not Jay. It's not LP or JP or whoever this guy is. It certainly isn't Brian Flynn. It's me. There are maybe 2 other people, living people who know about the full production of that show more than me. Now, I could talk about the writers all day long that are still around. I'm sure they know their work, right? But we're talking about the full production. Bushman and the guy who wrote Hear the Roar. It's not Tim. Notice how Tim's not in there? Maybe it's because Tim's just a collector. He doesn't do any of the hard work. He doesn't scan in scripts. He doesn't scan in production material. He doesn't have friends help him go through and try to find cell numbers to match the colors to it. He doesn't do any of that. He gives you stuff because you give him stuff. You lying clown.
For helping people. And he's not shilling. He's excited. The man
That's shilling! He is putting out your product, getting angry at criticism, and doing so to hype up its sale. That is shilling. That's not being happy about something.
Like Thundercats. Is Jorge shilling right now? Like, are they shilling or are they just excited about the toys? Like, that it's somehow all negative, that it's somehow all in some sort of, like, caught up, like, that they've got to be doing this for their ego or this is whatever. It's like, no. Like, man has never asked for anything. Like, I just find it when everybody's going to shit on somebody else that's doing this stuff. It's like, his poor baby. His poor baby Maddie's being criticized. Oh, boo-hoo. You run a company. Brian would not have survived in the 80s when toy creation and whatnot was like at its absolute peak. Why? They took shots at each other all the time. He-Man
took shots at the masculinity of G.I. Joe. He wouldn't be able to handle that. Soft little man from California here can't even handle being told, hey, your articulation sucks. But no, you're being mean. Suck it up, you pussy.
Your podcast, but you put, an hour and 12 minutes into it minimum before you even get to editing it or putting it up online or whatever. It's like, he's putting in his time. So
I put more into editing any Thundercat thing I put out there than Tim's putting anything. Or you putting anything.
You can not like it, but you don't need to crap on it. Just say,
watch me. Watch me. You want to make me stop, Brian? Come break my fingers. You cow.
It's not for me. Yeah. That's it.
It's not for me. I can't handle criticism. I can't handle negativity. Whenever the next plague comes, I hope you're taken first.
I feel like that negative attitude within the toy industry and within especially the YouTube verse is so, none of this is cool to anyone else besides a very small group of people.
Cope. Kill yourself. Unironically, cope and kill yourself. I don't care if you think it's cool or not. Just because you cry bitter tears that you're being criticized doesn't mean I'm going to shut up, and certainly doesn't mean I should. How did Brian survive this long? How did he not, stick his face in, a grease trap somewhere? How did he not, find raw uranium and just eat it? Because this man's stupid.
So, if you're going to try to then fracture and alienate the few people that are here, just come on.
Me giving a criticism, if that fractures and alienates people, they're morons. It's not my fault you want a hug box. Kill yourself.
No, you know what?
You can put us to task for doing things incorrectly, but don't...
Like I just did. You tried to excuse. And Tim's a shill. Hey, Tim, you're a shill. Kill yourself, Tim. You're a shill.
Ruin the other people.
Absolutely, 100%. And look, I have a 5-year-old. I have a family. I just came from work, hauled ass, got down here to do this.
Cool story, JP. Let me know when you get the testicles to come in my face about it.
And love for the brand. I'm not getting anything in return.
And keep in mind, while these people are pearl clutching and projecting and virtue signaling, I'm doing the work getting the figures out and taking the pictures to prove them wrong. They're just mouthing off because they're upset that I said a negative thing. Cry about it. I don't care.
You know what I mean? I just love to spread awareness and just...
Spread awareness. In other words, spread your addiction. Because if you're spreading awareness, you'd be critical, but you're not.
Champion the brand, because for me...
Champion the brand! The brand! He's championing the brand! The main core of Thundercat should not be about your plastic addiction. If you can't sit here and hash it out to me talking about the show and what it teaches and what you like about it and the lore therein, I don't want to hear about it. If your entire focus is toy, oh my god, grab your nearest slide figure and shove it down your throat until you choke on it and die a miserable death.
Winning if we get to every single figure that I want made. That's,
That's not winning. That's you being a plastic addict. Go to therapy.
Yeah, but also for him, if he's like, no, you've got the wrong logos, then it's like, let's have a constructive criticism.
I've given you constructive criticism. I've been giving you criticism for years. You cowardly cow.
About improving, not a destructive criticism about... We probably really
boo-hoo, I hurt your feelings. Oh, jump too far back. Whoop.
I told this once to somebody, because a lot of people seem to think that, if you sell toys...
Let's go back. Oopsie.
The reality is, guys, that, we are so grateful and humbled that...
Shut up.
I have a 5-year-old. I have a family. I just came from work, hauled ass, got down here to do this for my love for the brand. I'm not getting anything in return. I'm not getting paid. You know what I mean? I just love to spread awareness and just champion the brand, because for me, I'm winning if we get to every single figure that I want made. That's, you know what I mean?
But also for him, if he's like, no, you've got the wrong logos, then it's like, let's have a constructive criticism about improving, not a destructive criticism.
I've been unironically, I've been giving him basic constructive criticism for years. He just doesn't listen. So yeah, I'm going to come in and I'm going to bully him. And I'm going to call it what it is. Also, Josh Sampson, you can kill yourself too.
About tearing other people down. That's all. So, Lyin Convoy...
Oh, no! I'm being mad at somebody and I'm bullying them and tearing them down. Oh, no!
Convoy here may have a very, very valid point that we should look into. 100%.
I always do and you never do.
But you don't need to destroy somebody else to make your point. That's all.
Remember, this entire diatribe is because I said Tim's a shill. I didn't call him a pedophile. I didn't do anything like that. I just said he's a shill. And this entire virtue signaling nonsense is because I called somebody what they are.
Well, I talked too much about this.
The reality is, guys, that...
Yeah, lick your wounds, clown.
We are so grateful and humbled that Brian's taking time out of his day to come.
Let's...
Humble because you're talking to some clown who makes action figures? Humble. I'm sorry, is Brian a king? Is he the Lord of Hosts? That you should have the humility and humbleness that he's taking time out of his day to come talk to you. Oh my God, Jay, I didn't even want to come in here and criticize you, but this is embarrassing. You're older than me. You've got to at least be in your 40s, and you're sitting here acting like this grown man who makes garbage product that I can prove factually is made incorrectly. Step to me anytime you want to, Jay. And you're saying you need to have humility about being in this man's presence? The only thing they should have humility to have him in his presence if he falls into a gator farm, and that's so they can at least say grace before they eat.
Let's not even frame it like that. Look, you can argue very well. It's my job to make sure I'm talking to you guys. I want you to help support the line or whatever.
Come on my channel, Brian. You have an open invitation. In fact, you can come on my channel. I will not insult you once. I will just be very pointed in what you're wrong about.
So I don't want to not be, you can take me to task on things that are, same thing. Like, hey, you've got the wrong logo. Okay, let's talk about this, but let's move about it in a way to make it a positive change. Like, I'll be the first to tell you we've got something wrong. Just like somebody's like, why?
No, you're not. You have to be called out every single time. Every single time you've had to be called out. And then when, again, Wave 2 was an absolute dumpster fire quality control, you essentially told everybody to get over it and eat it.
The color of that lino wrong. We're like, yeah, it was wrong, and then we switched it. Like,
yeah, and it's still wrong.
There are a million things out of our control, and we can talk about that logo, but we don't need to talk about that logo in a way that destroys other people that are here for the same.
Cry about it. If these adults can't be bothered with understanding the word shill and seeing it in their presence without an absolute mental breakdown, they don't need to populate the earth. They need to leave this mortal coil or toughen up. Eat some gravel, harden up. Look, and here's the thing, right? The ACC gets a lot of grief for being a bunch of soft skins, like they do. I don't think Vlad's listening to this stream, but if he does, he'll probably lose it. Why? Because these guys are from our generation. These guys are supposed to be the ones who survived through all these generations up till now, all these decades. They should be hardened, but they just lost it over the word shill. Like, these people are softer than the ACC people because they're grown men with several decades under their belt, and they didn't get called a slur, they didn't get doxxed, they didn't get called a kid toucher, they didn't even get called ugly. Somebody that they know was called a shill, and they cried about it.
Reasons we are. There's not enough of us to go around.
I agree 100%.
So like I said, like let's find out what's bothering and get into it. So
yeah, 100%. But
right, now I've ruined this.
No.
You ruined it ever since you put your hands on it.
Brian, the reality is that, everyone is entitled to their opinion, but at the end of the day, we are a community, and we want to be able to have an open dialogue and conversation.
Yeah, and half the time you guys shut it down because you're toxic positivity losers. You guys want a conversation until it comes to the hard parts, until it comes to criticism. Then it's, well, we should be positive. Kill your positivity. Sacrifice it. Put it on the altar and stab it to death. Why? It is worthless and useless. You should be realistic, not positive, not toxic positive, not even toxic negative. If there is negativity, it is a vital part of life. You want to know what negativity is? You really want to know? It's when you walk into the woods and you hear a rattlesnake go off and you stop and you make sure where it is. Well, that's an unpleasant thing to deal with, guys. But the reality is if you don't recognize that unpleasant thing and react appropriately, you're going to die! These people would not survive outside of this century because they can't handle their emotions being put in play because somebody uses the word shill or says, hey, this is a problem, correct it, you stupid clown. How in the world did my generation get in the military if this is how they act? Like, seriously.
And this is exactly, what is, sometimes a problem with the community, but at the same time, if we don't address these things...
I'm not the problem in the community, guys. You three are. You three and your mentalities are. You know where you get with toxic positivity? Nowhere. You get shafted, you get lied to, you get stolen from, and you expect everybody to smile and just give constructive criticism. Sometimes the best constructive criticism to give somebody is to hand them a knife and tell them put it in their neck and pull all the way to the left. Sometimes that's the best you can give. And in this, you are propping up a man who is taking people's money, who is lying to your faces, and you are aiding and abetting that and telling the community to continue doing it. You are just as culpable for this as he is at this point. Shape up. Or I'm just going to start losing it on you people unironically. Because I've had enough of this nonsense. Right? This is my field, buddy. Not yours.
Sometimes just get swept on the rug, and I'm glad, thank you for addressing that head on. But at the end of the day, guys, this is a positive environment. We want to be here, and we want to support each other, as Brian had mentioned. It makes sense. Why would we be knocking each other down? We really need to.
Cope. Sometimes people need to get punched in the mouth. Tim needs to get punched in the mouth. Brian needs to get punched in the mouth. Cope.
I told this once to somebody.
Oh my God! Stop waxing on about your hurt feelings, you little child.
Because a lot of people seem to think that if you sell toys, or if you go and put everything at retail, it will sell 100% for adult collectibles. I told this to somebody, and they really quickly figured this out. I said, I dare you to grab Tigra and Chitara, both of these. Walk over to your neighbor's door and say, hey, knock the door. The first person, especially if it's an adult, say, do you want to play with my toys with me? It would be great.
That is the dumbest comparison you could have to think you're making a point. I could walk up to somebody with a fishing line and say, hey, you want to go fishing? And they'd look at me just as crazy. Just as crazy. They obviously must have the correct logo because the Super Cat Slayer, their Thunder Tank symbol correct. Nope. Actually, it's wrong on those two. It's wrong on those two.
guarantee you the answer is not what you would.
It's called police on YouTube.
So there are very few of us.
Hey guys, my niche interest. I mean, it's if you go out, then it may not be. It's going to be niche. You don't say. Water makes things wet. It's dark at night. Anything else?
Yeah. So we need to support each other. Brian's correct.
I don't need to support Brian. I need to tell Brian to kill himself or fix his line.
I agree, man. Yeah. And I do apologize, Brian.
And here, Jay, if you ever watch this, I'm dead serious. I am deadly serious. I didn't even want to come at you on this. Like, I genuinely didn't. But then I see what you did when I was out there looking for these figures to prove my point. And this is how you act? You're a grown man, Jay. You and JP here are grown men, and this is what you're doing. You're kowtowing to a corporate buffoon because he makes action figure you like. Oh my God, how did you live this long? How did you not choke on something when you were a child?
Because, you know, it's...
No. I also don't want to feel like it's Attack Lyle Convoy thing. Like, hey.
Bring it! Bring it on! Anytime you think you guys are big enough.
He's got a question that I want to address.
Right.
And I want to find out.
Which he didn't address, actually. Never once. Just other than Tim gives us neat things.
The answer. I want to give him the same respect that I'm giving to the other people that are answering the questions.
Yeah, which is why you said mean things about me, right? Because I said, shit, oh, you poor baby, I'm being a dick.
Right. So he's valid in that. But while being valid at that, don't diss the other people. Like,
I'll do what I want and you'll show up and seethe on it. Sit and spin.
That's all. So I don't want this to be pile-on Lyle Convoy Day.
No. I would love for you to try. And I say that in the chat. If they want to try to pile on, do it, buddy. Go for it. I'm here all day. One of the few times I'll quote that film. What is it? God, what was it? Revenge of the Fallen. I'll take you all on. I don't care. I can body any of these people. I'm fine with it. Let the unironic actual man-children show up. Yeah, go ahead. Spam my comments. Get butt mad about me. Be like Josh here. Or, what was his name? Whatever the guy's name. Happy J or Goody J or whatever his name was. Who mysteriously is gone now. Huh? I wonder why that is. Anytime you guys think you're big enough, come on. It'd be fun. Entertain me.
No, of course not.
No. Again, we're a community and we all have to respect each other. I think that's really the message that has to be
absolutely.
But anyway,
back to Myra. We did make her shorter, but I think everybody would like her shorter as well. If we get to her in Deluxe, I think we would probably go back and tweak tooling on that.
Okay, that's a good opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like if she's going to come back around again, then yeah, let's tweak it and make it better. Because 100%, let's try to make it better every single time.
Absolutely. And guys, just put a bow on this. Please don't send any comments over to Leo Convoy. I mean, like
no, do it or no balls. Do it. Keep in mind, Goody J was saying earlier, Brian slap you. Where's the slap? I see tears. I don't see any slaps.
Again,
no, we don't want to make it a pile on him.
You're welcome to try and pile on.
And again, Brian says it's true. He does have valid comments, and all of us are trying to figure out ways to make things right. So at the end of the day, his comments are not any less than anyone else's. So, and that's I think we'll go.
Let's move on to some of the more. Let's end it on a high note, though.
Yes, let's definitely end it on a high note.
Let's make sure we don't feel bad. Let's get a dopamine rush by the end of this.
I have a few questions regarding Ultimates that's in the music vein. I'm a rocker. I love, more like, not so much a classic rock. Obviously we're a different age, but
when you have classic rock, I remember being contemporary.
Well, no, I mean, it's crazy because I listen to classic rock nowadays, and it's like Chili Peppers is playing, and I'm like, that's not classic rock. You know what I mean? It's just classic rock is Zeppelin. It's freaking.
That's how you know that's how you know we're aging out there.
Yeah.
Well, haven't you heard that on restaurants? There's a whole psychological theory on restaurants that you play the music, the customer that you want. You play the music in the restaurant from when they were 17. And that's how you determine what your customer base will be inside your restaurant.
That's genius because I walked into a restaurant recently, and it's kind of like a sports bar type restaurant. And sports bars, they're always playing sports. I'm not a sports guy. I don't care for who's playing baseball, or who's playing football, or who's playing basketball. And I walked into this place, and yeah, they have.
Is this man seriously going on about how he's surprised it's people who like sports are in sports bars? Are you kidding me?
I had a bunch of TVs playing sports, but they had this one TV playing MTV music videos circa late 90s, early 2000s, dude. And I told my wife, holy shit, this is exactly the vibe that I want when I go dine out and have some drinks. Because I feel like, why isn't there a place where you can vibe and have a drink that doesn't involve sports? You know what I mean? So I completely agree with you on that. And kind of segueing from there is, my question was about Ultimates and music. So you've done Metallica.
Yeah, the logo for all of them, like one way or another, has been correct. Yes, correct. That's all been wrong.
You've done a lot of cool stuff like
you haven't done Metallica.
No, you did. Well, you've done one of their members. You did a figure of the.
Well, we did Cliff.
Of Cliff.
That's
yes.
right, we did Cliff.
But you've never done Metallica as
never done Metallica.
a whole band. So Metallica, for example.
We've been trying to do Metallica for 7-8 years. We just haven't been able to do it.
The Peppers would be a really awesome. There's so many different. If you look at Mother's Milk.
For me, the Chili Peppers ends when Hillel Slovak dies. So.
Wow. Okay. So that's like you stop.
I stop at Uplift Mofo Party Plan. I'm like the rest of the stuff. I'm not really that into.
So you like the heavy funk. I get you. Yeah. No. For me, it's like Blood Sugar Sex Magic. And I think like after that, they kind of just changed.
Well, I think it's all your timing
Let
as
this
well.
play
I think
out.
what we've seen in general is that Ultimates don't really perform in music the same way. Is that the music fan is not the person that's buying our music figures, generally speaking, is not a toy collector. They're a music fan, and so what they're really reacting to is it's a low price point and it has the artwork that I remember, and this is cool and this is fun, and I'll have a couple of these, but I'm not a toy collector. The toy collector wants the Ultimate, but the toy collector that also wants the Ultimate of that Venn diagram gets smaller. And when we make those Ultimates, the casual music fan is like, I'm not spending $65 on a figure of the Beastie Boys or whatever. You know, they're just not interested in it that same way. Give me the $20 version. That's enough of the nostalgia for me. So that's what we've seen so far. Ghost is an outlier. Ghost does extremely well in Ultimates. So.
Yeah, CB's looking for a different version of the Notorious B.I.G.
God forbid Monstrous get a Ghost Ultimates action figure and there be something wrong about it. She'll actually kill this man.
We may have some B.I.G. coming out.
That woman is down dirty for the Ghost, whoever that is, more than I am for Catwoman. That anytime Monstrous talks about Ghost, she sets feminism back into the Stone Age.
There we go.
There's other looks there. We originally we were trying to do the Coogie sweater, but we couldn't get the Coogie people in Australia to license us or give us permission to use it, or even pay a royalty fee for the stripes. They're just like, no.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy how much stuff like gets in the way in terms of roadblocks getting things
because they own a patent on the way that those sweaters are woven out of like leftover yarn, and so every single one of them is different. And so even if you replicate it, they sue people because it's like, no, that's our thing. So like when the Brooklyn Nets did the one where they had like the stripe insets, they did like the Biggie style versions that had like the Coogie looking type pattern.
And for those of you wondering, my progression when it comes to Brian Flynn, you can actually track on the channel. It went from, this is a problem, you need to fix it. Because I was initially excited. Like, this needs to be fixed. I hope you fix this later. And now we're at 5 years later, kill yourself, Brian. So this is not, like, me always being that the whole time. It got ramped up after years.
Sued for it, so like you can't make anything with that pattern even without getting sued by them.
So I think this will bring it to an interesting last question. What are the chances of doing a Thundercats Safubi?
Die.
There's a lot of roadblocks in there. That would be difficult right now. I think our biggest problem right there is that
What's next? The Thundercat butt plug? What is wrong with these people?
Made soft vinyl, in Japan for, since 2001, and it is much more popular now than it's ever been. And the sort of tricky part is that we went and found the original factories that made stuff in the 60s, and we started working with them. But you're still second in line behind a Japanese buyer at those factories if you're an American, because we've been doing business there so long. Any of the other Japanese factories we go to, they're like, oh, we don't want to work with you because we don't want to make them angry because we know them and they're friends and you're their customer. Yeah. So we get stuck with it being very difficult for us to get product out on the vinyl side, which is really too bad. Yep. But
I think since we didn't cover this will probably be our last comment, but I think it's a good one. Brian, I just scooped up all 4 2003 TMNT figures, and they're by far my top figure of the year. Excellent job.
Well, thank you. I think they turned out wonderfully.
Here's the thing. Mark this calendar. Mark it on your calendar. The 2003 Super 7 Ninja Turtle toys are actually good. They have decent articulation. They're extremely accurate to the show. There's a little bit you can mess with, but they're pretty doggone good because Brian had to be sat down like a child and said, we're not doing this your way. We put money into this. We're going to make it industry standard. That's why they're good. So they're capable of it. He just knows he can get away with it when it comes to Thundercats. But oh my God, here's why. Do not piss off the turtle people. Do not piss off the turtle people. NECA, the big dogs of Ninja Turtle toys right now, right? When they first started putting out toys, their plastic quality was garbage. You can go on Retro Blasting's channel. You can see why that was. They were considered like a expendable, essentially like a bar of soap, right? That was the category they put their toys in. Then they got Ninja Turtles. And the Ninja Turtle figures started breaking. And then the turtle people got pissed. And then NECA had to up their game because they pissed off the turtle people. Those people are crazy, man. And now they make good figures. Surprise!
Yeah, they did a great job. The whole team did an awesome job on that. And the other 4 are coming soon, I believe. Shredder and Casey and everybody, that should land here pretty soon.
And I think that really goes to JP's question that, additional articulation is possible, like there are new molds coming out.
Yeah, we had a clean reset there, so I felt like it really made a lot of sense. That customer really grew up on something different like that. So I think if there was a clean reset.
By the way, Brian's lying about they grew up on that. The 2003 Turtles didn't have double jointed knees or elbows or any of that. He's been saying that to excuse it or to play pretend that he wasn't sat down like a child and told to update his stuff. Saying, well, no, we did it because that generation, they grew up on double jointed. You're a liar. Metal Man, to answer that question, I think they're decent. I don't think they're perfect, but I think they're decent, and I'll talk about them on the channel sometime.
On Thundercats, there would be a way for it.
Cartoon Network. Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
You just can't go there.
Hey, 2000s collectors were really into the whole jointed knees and elbows, man. I mean, like,
I think Brian isn't going to take any more of those types of questions tonight. So, guys, first of all, we want to thank Brian for giving us a lot of his time tonight.
dude, it's been awesome, man. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us.
Of course, we're talking about toys.
Yeah, and you know, with how shitty things are in the world right now, these moments are very important and very therapeutic for a lot of people. You know, just transporting.
The logo on the cat slayer is correct on the chest and table. Let's find out. If I'm wrong, I'll retract it, but I don't think I am. Doop. Boop. Boop. I need an actual in-person. There's one. JPEG. Where's the table? Just double checking. Why was somebody selling it on Etsy for like just itself? What the heck? Let's see if that saves. Why did it save as an AVIF? What the heck? The heck is even an AVIF? Of course, it just saved like a quarter of it. What the heck? Let's try another image. Oh my god, why can't that just take me to the image I need instead of then forwarding me to a completely different page that has a whole bunch of images and then I gotta go find it. I hate it here. And then, of course, the images are itty-bitty. One moment, everybody. Hold on, everybody. Ugh. I can actually prove some of this very easily. Uno momento. Talk amongst yourself. Talk about how angry I make you, I suppose, if you're one of Brian's flunkies. I always enjoy that. Where is the random folder where I keep this? Okay, it's not in that one. Maybe it's in random 2. Pretty sure it's in random 2. Ah, here it is. Save as. Going to the Brian Flynn. All right, so let's see what we can do here. Let's see if I can shrink that. So, let's move just for a moment. Actually, no, we'll finish this up, and then we'll move into that. Then let's go ahead and finish this up, simply so I can get it off the table.
Themselves to this nerd world and talking about plastic crack and action figures. It's something that a lot of us need right now. We just need to find that wholesome fun in these moments and forget about all the crappy things out there, man.
Cope.
Yeah, it is, for all of us, I think when we get into this, it's a way to not think about, so an escape to a degree. We don't have to think about the rest of the other stuff. You get to turn your brain off for a little while and have fun with all this stuff.
Absolutely.
So that's the goal.
Really quickly, you don't even have to answer this one, but I did just want to mention this. Melvor says, I thought the Super 7 multi-figures fit in better with the vintage ones. I hope you guys can get the license back to continue the line. And I totally agree. I love what you guys
I would love to. I mean, obviously, that is Mattel's baby, and they're doing a lot of really great stuff with it, and they're doing a lot of experimentation with it, and you're getting more Motu than you've ever gotten in a long time. I'd love for there to be a place for us in that world, but that's really up to them. I'm always here, girl. Give me a call. We asked at one point not too long ago, I say not too long ago in the last 18 months, and they were just like, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
So, but that can always change. You never know when that's going to change.
The movie opens up so many opportunities for so many different things. So, anything's possible. Brian, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Guys, if you have any other questions, guys, if you have any other questions, please leave them in the comment section below. We'll send them to Brian. And of course, thank you again. JP, thank you.
I'll hold you to that, Jay, because I sent you a link to all the production material. Let's see if you actually send it to Brian.
Again, for being here, brother. It's always awesome to say. You want to say anything to our viewers on Instagram before we log off?
No, always a pleasure for all of our Spanish viewers. Muchas gracias por participar en esta entrevista con Brian. Espero que lo hayan disfrutado. Suscríbanse al canal de Thundercats Lair para todas las noticias y entrevistas nuevas que van a estar ocurriendo. So basically, subscribe to Thundercats Lair, guys. Me and Mega J are really trying to make this a one-stop shop for everything Thundercats, whether it's episode reviews, interviews like today, special kind of content. We really want to expand, have like a digital encyclopedia, if you will, of Thundercats on YouTube. So spread the word, tell your friends, subscribe to the Thundercats Lair, and thank you everybody for tuning in today.
I'm going to A-log the crap out of that.
Hey guys, we will catch you next time on Thundercats Lair.
All right, so now we're going to, let me see here. I want to make sure I got everything lined up here for my my special little guy. There we go. All right, so when it comes to the lair, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So I was able to look at the table, and I'm a man of my word, and I'm a man who will admit something. All right, so pay attention, pay attention. I was wrong about some aspects of the lair. The table looks fine. However, the chest still has problems. It's still missing a lot of the sharpness and contrast on the details here. Flatly. It just is. Now, the cat's lair has other problems in terms of the everything for it. But the logo isn't the biggest one. So, man of my word, bit wrong about that. That's fine. Let's talk about other things, though. So, we talked about the logos. Whole bunch. And here's another one they like to use. So you'll find this one on a lot of the other older ones and some of the newer figures, right? This logo, which is, again, wrong because here's the right one. I pointed out all the ways it was wrong, right? So, in 2021, January of 2021, Brian Flynn announced the Thunder Tank, right? And I had some words because I saw the box art, and honestly, it was garbage. It was garbage. I said, this is absolutely garbage, absolute garbage. It's stiff, makes no sense in composition, and it's a complete mess in color and flow. Super 7, you don't care about this property. You don't care about the people you've been fleecing with this line for over a year now, and you don't care to even stop and ask if what you're doing is patently stupid. At this point, the only grace would be for someone to take this line out to the back of the barn and put it out of its misery like Old Yeller. You're actively worse than Roar at this point, because at least Roar never tried to lie about what it was. Now, this was on Super 7's Instagram. The company's Instagram. I am a customer being critical. Brian responds on his personal account. It appears you hate everything, anything, and everything we do. Every post we make, you tell us we are awful. You tell anyone who posts positive about our stuff that they are dumb, which I haven't done, by the way. I'd be so much worse. I'd be so much worse if I did. What I'm trying to understand is this. Why are you here if you hate everything and everyone here? Now see what he's doing. This is what a manipulative, narcissistic liar does. They change the scope of what's being discussed to try to make it seem more vitrolic than it actually is. It seems like you are the one wasting your time, not us. If you don't like this party, that's fine. You don't need to show up. It's okay to leave. We won't hold it against you. Passive aggressiveness from a man in his 40s. Because I was critical of his toy. And I respond, I don't tell anyone who posts positively about your stuff that they're dumb. I generally respond to people that decide to get mad that I'm critical of your company and your products, which I do. You currently have some clown in your comment section of your Facebook post making sexual innuendos at me because I defended another poster from the clown when he was attacked. Yet here you are, focusing on the fact that I'm making my thoughts clear here. Don't sit there and try to tell me that I hate everyone here. That's nonsense and you know it. The only people I've addressed are the page and Toy Bro. The page because of the post, and Toy Bro because I'm well aware of what happened after Dragon Soul. Keep that in mind. Remember the name Dragon Soul. We're going to touch on that. You being passive-aggressive, a trait I've noticed you have in spades, instead of engaging me honestly, isn't doing you any favors. Truth be told, which I misspelled, spelling mistake, argument lost. You don't actually care about my criticisms here, which we literally just saw, which is why you're posting in a specific way. You've made it clear in interviews that you don't actually know anything about this property, to the point you said it wasn't animated in Japan. The heck? Remember that, we'll get into that. And you actively seek out people that will be as positive as possible with your product with no real criticisms. My DMs aren't closed, Brian. They're open here, on Facebook, etc. You've seen me enough to know I'm active here and that I care about this franchise. You don't want to actually discuss it? That's fine. But trying to come at me with full passive aggressiveness isn't going to cut it with me. I'm not some toy reviewer looking to be your pal to get free stuff. I'm here to be blunt about your products and where they succeed versus where they fail. And no, I'm never going to just be quiet and go away about it. I still have a platform on YouTube, however small it may be. I had like 3,000 to 5,000 subs at the point, and you can't silence me there. He says, I have no idea what you're talking about with the animated in Japan thing. Remember it. Remember it. I don't recall talking about or having anyone ask about that. Secondly, I don't see any of this as passive-aggressive. I simply see you being righteous/aggressive. I never said I was being passive-aggressive, so we can't read now either. And anyone who opposes that is wrong. No, I'm just factually right. It has nothing to do with righteousness. Plenty of people get joy out of the toys we make. Well, I'm sure some people also get joys out of looking at child porn. That doesn't mean it's okay. Doesn't mean you can justify it. And doesn't mean you should defend it mindlessly. You apparently do not. That is fine, but to wallow in it and bring it up incessantly is more about you than us. Remember, he's okay with criticism, guys. He's okay with it. There are plenty of toy lines I don't think could do a better job, but I don't go on their page on a regular basis to tell them so. Skill issue. I don't need to go into your DMs or anything. We are making toys for Thundercats. You are happy to check them out and post reviews on what you think is right or wrong with them. When we have issues, we fix them. If making toys was easy, everyone would do it. It's easy for you because you're not doing anything. It's hard and far more complex than most people understand, which is why you still screw up, I'm sure. And lastly, it's not passive-aggressive. It's just that I feel you somehow feel both personally wounded by these toys and that you have a vendetta against them that is also somehow justified. Keywords, he feels. I don't care about your feelings, Brian. This is a product and this is business. It is a bit odd and intense, Cope. And while we are happy to take constructive criticism, I don't necessarily feel that is what you offer. I'm sorry I'm not sitting there being super nice and ooh-woo with you. Maybe if you toughen up and stop being a pussy, you wouldn't have this problem. Your delivery of that said criticism is draped in messages and tone that defeat it. Be a man. Don't be a baby. Maybe it's the message, maybe it's the messenger, maybe you should kill yourself. The comment about the animation is literally in one of the interviews you did with Sebastian on the Thundercats.org. Do you often say things in interviews you cannot track? And sorry, Chief, but you don't get to sit there and try to play armchair psychoanalyst with me. The only reason you're trying so desperately to downplay what I've said or the things I've stated, to the point of literal hyperbole, by the way, you're not as clever as you think you are about this, makes it pretty apparent that you don't actually know how to respond to someone this direct. I'm not some mindless stooge that just consumes something to consume it. You have gone on at length about how you want this stuff to be perfect, and that it's what the Ultimates are all about. But what do you do? What do you deliver? Misassembled toys, Jackalman. Broken parts, Liono's Pelt Peg. Inaccurate colors, Liono Panthera Mungra. Terrible paint, the Sword of Omens. The delays upon delays while you sit on 3 waves worth of the capital. You're disregarding my criticisms because they're not stuffed with enough praise for your ego. Maybe you should turn all these attempts at framing me with nonsensical psychobabble inwards and fix your own problems, instead of trying to paint the one guy willing to withstand you to your face without worry about your ego. You're bad at this, and anyone who's seen how you handle customer relations will point out that you flatly suck at it. Stop lying about being a fan of this property. Stop lying about being the best possible when your company constantly phones it in. Stop lying about wave delivery when you've had no clue about it, or wait until the last minute to address it. Stop playing pretend that someone criticizing your company is some sort of monster with a ridiculous amount of asinine hyperbole. I don't owe you silence, no matter how much you want it. Your business practices are a joke, your products are littered with errors, and at this point, you're being actively predatory with a sought-out item and a large price in the middle of a pandemic. Are the previously already paid for waves from this franchise and others not good enough? Got to add another thing just to make sure? It's vile. My issues with this line are pretty evenly split. On one hand, there's the nonsense of how you run waves and can't get product out while taking more pre-orders. On the other hand, there's your company's inability to make a Thundercats figure that doesn't look like it has a hair lip. You can try and form all my statements in hyperbole as though I'm every thread of every post you make, but both of us know that isn't true. Stop trying to lie or exaggerate just because you can't take the heat. And yes, you are absolutely passive-aggressive. Either come at me straight on, or not at all. This soft nonsense is a joke, especially when you play pretend that's not what you're doing. No, Brian, I won't stop criticizing you. I won't stop criticizing your company. And I'm certainly not going to be silent when you outright take advantage of my community. The big sites will say a word to you because they're scared of missing some special knowledge or a figure. I'm not. Even if you block me after this post and go to bed, I'll be on this later this weekend and let a much larger audience know what and who you are with years worth of receipts, which I did. Later that week. This franchise hasn't been treated right since the 80s, and your company hasn't changed that. And he says, no, you just sit there and call me a liar over and over again. Actually, I prove you were one. And you make and here's the kicker. Listen to this, it's great. You make videos calling me a liar over and over again. You literally have one where you spend 4 minutes talking about how you believe we are screwing everyone over on the replacement parts because repainted reaction figures come out faster, regardless of them being in process before and at different factories with different timelines. All of the grand evil plots and schemes you have cooked up are literally a factory being late because we aren't Jurassic Park, and if you've watched any of the videos, you would know this, which is why it's the issue in the first place. It's just a steady stream of anger and personal insults wrapped in the guise of reviews. It's pathological. I've never said we can't be better, which is why we fix things. By the way, this is before Wave 2 came out with a ton of cult QC issues and all the other problems that have happened. You know, that's why they fix things, right? But I've also never gone on for 4-minute videos to call people liars as some sort of respite for journalistic integrity. None of this matters, though, because you won't hear anything written, but come back instead with some quip like, the video is really 3:37, you should pay attention to details or something. So, here's what a victim narcissist does, from the reading I've learned. They reframe everything as the worst possible alternative to what it actually is, and they put out their feelings as though they are facts, and they don't address anything point by point. What they do instead is try to be as broad as possible to try to downplay what you're saying. So, for anybody who says, Brian doesn't watch your stuff, he doesn't even know who you are, he's literally sitting here admitting he knows exactly who I am. And how did I respond? Notice how in that entire diatribe, you don't actually address anything I said. All you did was rant about a video I did where I primarily asked specific questions. You knew Wave 1 was late, and you would move on to Wave 2 being late. Instead of moving Wave 2 when you realized Wave 1 was going to be late, you kept going. You also skipped the fact that I brought up glow-in-the-dark Mum-Ra as well in that video. Did that one come from the reaction figure factory as well, Brian? You want to talk about pathology? Cool. Let's talk about the pathology that liars have when it comes to only addressing their nonsense on a surface level. Maybe start addressing what I've said point by point instead of whatever random things I've done to hurt your feelings because you can't stand being questioned. You actively lied about how I post and what I say here, but you don't say dick to people who are negative or hate on the person calling you out. Your double standards aren't charming, and they're not fooling me, Brian. This is why you won't talk to anyone who doesn't fluff your ego. You suck at actually answering tough questions. Also, the video was asking why. You could have answered it at any time. You sure don't mind utilizing personal accounts to mix it up with me when I didn't post here, or when I posted here, and it sure didn't stop you from making accusations of Dragon Soul on his Ultimate Raphael review, so your silence in regards to a video you allegedly watched is deafening. Now, that's where that back and forth ended. Remember how I said about the Japan animation, how he totally doesn't remember saying that? This is the interview. Thundercats.org. What made Thundercats appeal to you when it first aired in the 80s? It never appealed to him. He's lying. Brian Flynn. When it first came on in America, the animation was taken up another level from what was on air before it. It aired the same time as Voltron, and it just had crazy animation. It wasn't Japanese, but animated in a similar way. It wasn't Japanese. So Pacific Animation Corporation in Japan didn't animate it. You know, the company that Rankin Bosch used to animate their 2D stuff. They didn't do it. That company in Japan, it's not Japanese animation. The company in Japan that's doing the animation isn't Japanese animation. And nobody called him out on this. He's playing pretend. He's a faker. In every possible way. He's just a liar. Now, do I have anything else here in this folder? Or do I get to go to the other videos? Because we got a couple more. I'm sorry, I've had to deal with so much awful garbage that, like, this is actually therapeutic for me. So, yes, actually, you know how I said they're using AI? So, one thing about 80s toys that's actually great is some of the box art, like, done by excellent draftsmen. Gorgeous art. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Here's what they did for the art for their Reaction Plus Wild Bill. Guys, how many fingers does a human hand have? Can you tell me? Because I don't think this is one of the Pines siblings, frankly. I don't think so. So why does Wild Bill have 6 fingers? Oh yeah, because it's AI. This is what Brian and his company are using. They're using AI. So, if Brian Flynn cares so much about workers and about all that, why is he using AI? Also, you weren't right about the Cat Slayer. The logo's still off. So, cope, Josh. Remember, Brian cares a lot about this stuff, which is why he fired a lot of his staff, which is why he uses AI art. For the record, from what I understand about AI art, if you take this image and you use it wherever you want to, he can't do dick about it because this isn't protected under copyright. So, you can have fun with that. Yeah, it's an absolute joke. So, what was I talking about? Right? What was I talking about? Yeah, that's a really weird thing, right? To accuse Brian of, like, messing with some guy named Dragon Soul? What's that about? Weird, right? So, this video was made July 6th, 2020. This is the very first review of the Ultimates Raphael figure. Nobody else had him in hand beforehand. Nobody else did a review. Not any of the toy shills on YouTube. It was Dragon Soul, who lived in China. His review was negative. He pointed out the piss-poor articulation. He pointed out the piss-poor joints, how floppy it is, how goofy some of the decisions made were. Like, he tears into this thing. He has that right. Now let me see if it's even still here. Right? And I don't know what's happened to him, because he stopped uploading like 5 years ago. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if it's still here. Because could you guess what Brian did? Here he is. Hey, this is Brian from Super 7. I know our Chinese distributor does not yet have these in hand. So anything you have is either 1, fake, 2, factory rejects that have come out the back door somehow. I would love to know exactly where you bought these. Right? And here's the thing. I, back then, said your account was 3 days ago. Try using an older account. And I said, because I actually thought this was wrong. No, that actually is Brian. Which you found out later on. Oh, here's Justin Mohan, the knee licker of Super 7. I piss that guy off all the time. It's great. Because he also mixed it up with some other weirdo in here. Let me see if I can find him. Anyway, yeah, that's what Brian does. He hops on. He takes shots at the guy. And apparently there were other comments, but they got deleted. So what did this gentleman, who lives in China, do when he is called, essentially, a liar that he got quality control problem product in the back door? And keep in mind, Brian was saying, well, I didn't go to China to inspect the QC on the first wave of Thundercats, so that's why they're bad. But somehow he knew about whether or not something was put out. So he puts out an entire video. Right? It's 7 minutes long. We're going to go through it. Where I got my Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates Q&A and why I got it so early. It's been unlisted since, but let's listen to it.
Yes, again.
Let me turn that down. Boop. Actually, we're going to go back to the main screen for this because aesthetic. Boop. Now let's shrink my boy here. I can get rid of that. But my man's here.
Back with another video, and today's video is very special. The last video, some comments saying that I have factory rejects, and also even someone called Brian, which is the CEO from Super 7, commenting on my video saying that it shouldn't be an official release here in China, but I have find my way to prove myself, guys. I've 100% got the figure from their Chinese distributor, and here's the proof. Let's take a look. So this is screenshots from my last video's comment section, and this Brian says, hey, it's Brian from Super 7. I know the Chinese distributor does not have these in hand. So he's basically calling me a fake and buying KOs and also factory rejects. So I didn't believe him at first. I asked him to provide the name of the Chinese distributors to validate himself's identity. So he replied to me, our Chinese distributor's name is Polyphony. They have not taken possession of these figures yet. So that's weird, because I personally bought these figures from Polyphony's official online store, which I will show you guys later. So this is their online official store, and you can see it's Polyphony here. If you guys can't see the logos yet, it's here. Look. Their logo, Polyphony, is their official online store, and they're selling these turtle figures. Already 50 plus of them already been sold. And here's the comment section, which people bought these figures. They have them in hand already, which they bought from the official store. So, how do you explain this, man? They already have these figures. This is the comment section. If you guys cannot read Chinese, it's okay. You just see the picture they're posting. It's all the different customers already got this from your Chinese distributor. I don't know what happens inside of your company, but I'm a 100% authentic customer from Super 7, and you calling me a fake one. That's not the way you treat your customer. That's not proper customer service at all. As you can see, the logo. Pay attention to the logo. You don't read the Chinese name, it's okay. Polyphony, right? And here's my receipt from the official store. As you can see, Polyphony official here in Chinese, but I bought these figures from the official store. This was the first wrap figure I bought. Then you guys really loved the video, so I bought the rest of the line. As you can see, I bought them from Polyphony official. If you can read Chinese, it's basically what they're saying. So it's the same store I showed you guys before. Yes, on the web page. This is the web page, web store. So I bought from the Polyphony web store. As you can see, the logo. So I think this proof is not solid. So I go to their off.
You would think that would be enough, but no. What did this man do? Physically goes on foot there.
Offline store, comic book store. As you can see, pay attention to this logo closely. Polyphony, right? Chinese, English. It's not really clear, so you guys paid attention to Polyphony. It's their Chinese distributors offline comic book store. And guess what? What's this, huh? It's on the shelf. Baxter Stockman, huh? I'm about to review this figure. But before I get all this nonsense clear, which these are not KO or factory reject, I cannot do any more reviews. That's why this video exists. And I got more pictures. See the whole retro turtle line. And also, see this picture? They're selling the Splinter, Raph, and Foot Soldier. They're selling these figures in their official offline comic book store. Polyphony, huh? The store. And guess what? What's this, huh? I shoot this picture from outside the store. All the customers see those turtle figures? Splinter, Turtle, Splinter, Foot Soldier, huh? I wasn't lying, man. I was a 100% customer of your company, and that's how you treat your customer, huh? Raph, Splinter, Foot Soldier, huh? This is what the store looked from outside. See, Polyphony logo. So it's 100% authentic, right? It wasn't Photoshop or anything. Look at this dude. He's looking at this Raph figure, which they're selling on shelf. I don't know what happens inside of your company, but you need to get your things straight. Knowing your facts before accusing me buying KOs. I was buying from your official distributor. It's the official release here in China, like I told you guys. Some people just can't believe. If you and all your friends got something, their problem with it. No way anyone should have anything yet. Our Chinese distributor, they have not taken possession of their figures yet.
Oh no, Brian got caught being a moron and then randomly accusing some guy because he had a negative review. So Josh, you can cope.
Polyphony, huh? So since they don't have anything, so can you explain this on the shelf? Huh? Brian, Polyphony? Huh? And because what Brian left the message under my last video, people are saying things on the Twitter, so they're just basically calling my names. Goofy, annoying, asshole, awful, clown, calling me turds. And what they're providing is this message, which I don't 100% sure is the real deal. It's the real Brian.
No, it was.
I don't know, man. But they're posting screenshots.
And that's the confirmation here. Toy Bro, another shill for Super 7, says, LOL, I was talking to Brian about this yesterday. They're very much convinced these aren't finished product. Not too happy about it either. Hey Brian, how about that positivity in the toy community, buddy? Your lead shill at the time here is sitting there dunking on another reviewer, for being honest.
And the Toy Bro replied, I was talking to Brian about this yesterday. They are very much convinced that these aren't finished product. Not too happy about it, neither. So, since they're not finished product, why it appears in your official Chinese distributor's comic book store on shelf? Hey Brian, explain that to me right now. I'm your customer and I buy things from your Chinese distributor. You don't get your shit straight. and causing me a lot of trouble, making it hard for me to review figures anymore online. People saying I buy KOs. So from now on, if I review anything, people just calling me knockoffs and factory rejects. Take a day off and go to the comic book store just to take these pictures for you guys. Oh, I got video proof too. I shoot some videos. This is what I got. This is their store. Look closely. What is this? Huh? Baxter. And also turtles. These are the turtles they're selling on the comic book store of the Polyphony. Guys, look closely. They're on shelf, like I said. They are on shelf and official release here in China. Without that aside, I don't want to clarify about these anymore. So I will get Baxter's review ASAP. And it's your boy DS signing off.
You know, Josh, you can sit there and you can insult the man because English isn't his first language, but I don't know. He's not the one sitting there bootlicking a corporation that he was wrong about. I love it when Super 7 shills show up. They're so much fun to bully. Alright, so that's all I have today, but before we go, because I forgot, or almost forgot completely last time, let's go ahead and get into the Super Chats. One from Lucifer to Scary, $2. A hello for the old man. Thank you. Super Godo Satsu for $10. This is why I'm dropping out of toy collecting and playing card games and tabletops. If I get smacked off, I can leap over the table. Based. Blinky Irish for $2. Take my money. Well, thank you, Blinky. You're very sweet. Gray Knight CMD for $5. Hey, Lyo, hope your night is going pretty good. I'm wondering when you're going to review anything by 52 Toys like Beast Box or Mega Box. They're not really my thing. Digistar DBZ for $5. Give me my garbage tug mug so I have all of my garbage lunatics then become violently insolvent, Brian. Fair. Alright, so thank you all for joining me. I know that, thank you, Josh, for being racist. Typical Super 7 shill, or racist, probably touches kids. Anyways, thank you all for joining me. I know this is more of a less serious thing, despite how passionate I got, right? But it's always fun to bully losers. Especially corporate shill losers. But I'm going to send you guys to commercials now, which I had to edit again, because I got copyright claimed again, but not this time. I don't think so. Let me double check. Not this time. Haha. So we're going to send it there, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Don't miss the super androids that fly on wings of silver and fight with nerves of steel. The mighty Silverhawks.
Afternoons at 4.
Thundercats! Ho! Thunder excitement is flying at you this fall when the Thundercats tear into action.
Let's cut those mutants down to size.
Get ready to strike a blow for justice this fall with the mighty Thundercats.
Lupin! Lupin! That man is a notorious thief who works all over the world!
Let's go meet this treasure that's soon to be ours.
Don't say that I didn't warn you.
Jeez, Cops can't get anything past you.
He'll steal your heart, and then he's coming for everything else. Lupin the Third, premiering next Saturday night at 2.
Take it off.
That'll be my pleasure.
Only Toonami on a...
ビーストウォーズセカンド最大の敵がついに目覚めたライオンコンボイ変身新司令官の登場だガルバトロントランスフォーム破壊大帝驚異の三段変形ライオン台風史上最大の対決に君も参加せよだからトランスフォーマービーストウォーズ
If one is born a man, at least once in his life, he will dream of becoming the strongest man alive.
you surprised at all? This is Orochi-style karate.
That's it, baby. Come straight for me.
Your training has paid off most impressively. I'd be happy to reward you now for all the progress you've made.
He could never acquire.
What an adorable little playground you have here.
Maki the Grappler.
You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, automatic cement launcher. Function, launches pre-mixed fast-drying cement at the rate of 5,000 GPM, glots per minute. Very effective at freezing monsters right in their tracks. Ending transmission. You have accessed the secret files of the SWAT Cats. Name, Jake Clausen. Occupation, garage mechanic. Alias, Razor. Real job, SWAT Cat. Designs gadgets to capture bad guys. Goal, protection of Mega Cat City. Favorite expression, bingo. Ending transmission.
Meet St. Canard's Most Wanted.
Eat wanted, Starkling!
There's Megavolt, criminal circuit breaker.
It's playtime!
Quacker Jack, fiendish felon. Bushroot, experiment gone haywire.
I'm really not sinister, just misunderstood.
And diabolical evildoer Mega Duck.
A rotten kind of guy!
And only one superhero can stop them.
The original, Mr. Fix-It! Get him!
Darkwing Duck.
A new Optimus Prime is here.
I'll transform Optimus!
Power Master Optimus Prime, greatest leader of his time.
It's great to be back.
Now, Optimus Prime is back as a Power Master. He only transforms when his Nebulon becomes his engine. Power Master Optimus Prime.
Look! Optimus is transforming into a super robot! Power Master Transformers! They've got the power to surprise!
The earth lies shattered and broken. A ruined wasteland that is now struggling to sustain life. Humanity is near the end after a devastating global meltdown. The oceans have been boiled away in nuclear fire. The land is charred and disfigured, saturated with deadly toxins. Life is a nightmarish struggle. The radiation levels have created hideous, mutated human savages. Mentally deranged, they roam in search of food and water. Gruesome violence brings terrible death to those who encounter these murderous mutants. It is an orgy of chaos, madness on a global scale. Savagery knows no limits. There are no nations, no laws, no order. In this grim reality, the forces of good and evil are once more preparing to fight for the future of mankind. Far, far away, a star shines out from the blackness of space. A beacon for the lost, a symbol of hope, an unfailing comfort to those on a journey. Known as the North Star, it has, through the ages, meant many things to many men. Under this eternal light walks the namesake of this star, a man of power and purity. A living beacon of hope, destined to bring light into the darkness. He is a feared man, spoken of in hushed tones. A legendary fighter, able to call on secret powers. Violence is met with worse violence, as Ken destroys the forces of his evil half-brother. Heads roll, bodies fall, and the earth runs red, as Ken draws ever nearer to Shin's stronghold in the city of the Southern Cross. The scene is set for an epic struggle between good and evil. What Shin started cannot be stopped. Many will die trying. Many will run. But there is only one Fist of the North Star.